From the Maverik Center in West Valley City, it's Utah Grizzlies hockey. As tonight's the pivotal Game 5 of the Mountain Division semifinal series between the Grizzlies and the Idaho Steelheads. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Utah Grizzlies hockey. I'm Tyson Whiting here with Chiarenza, and we got ourselves a big night of hockey as it's the pivotal Game 5 of the best-of-7 series. The series is set 2 games apiece. It's kind of interesting that the road team has won each of the first 4 games of this series. Utah won 2 games at Idaho Central Arena last week, winning game 1 3-0 as Trent Miner had a 43-save shutout. And then in game 2, Utah won 3-2 as Kyle Mayhew had 1 goal and 1 assist for the Grizzlies. In game 3 on Wednesday, Idaho won in overtime by a 3-2 score as Willie Niram scored 26 seconds into overtime. And last night we had a classic here at Maverik Center as Utah led 4-2 after 1 period. Idaho scored 2 unanswered in the second period. Idaho scored a power play goal about 4 minutes into the third period to take a 5-4 lead that was scored by Wade Murphy. Kyle Mayhew, about 9 minutes into the third period, tied it up at 5. It went to overtime, and Ty Pelton Bice, 3.5 minutes into the extra session, redirected an Owen Hedrick shot, which was taken from the right point, and Idaho came away with a 6-5 victory. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens here tonight. All 4 games have been close. All 4 games have been very competitive. We got the same goaltending matchup tonight. Adam Schill for Idaho against Utah's Trent Miner. A couple minor adjustments to the Grizzlies lineup we'll talk about later on in the pregame show. It is interesting to note that the road team has won all 4 games. The team that has scored first has also won all 4 games in this series. Watch out for the special teams. Both teams had 2 power play goals last night, and we'll see if it plays a factor here this evening. Idaho's power play had been pretty cold leading up to game 3 when they scored in overtime on the power play, and then they had 2 power play goals last night. It'll be interesting to see what the shot count looks like. Idaho did have 51 shots on Friday night to the Grizzlies 34. Grizzlies have had a pretty balanced scoring attack, but last night it was the Cameron Wright and Kyle Betts show. Wright had 1 goal and 3 assists for the Grizzlies, and Kyle Betts had 1 goal and 2 assists. Cameron Wright led the Grizzlies with 63 points in the regular season, and so it's only fitting that Wright leads the Grizzlies with 6 points here through 4 playoff games in this series. The winner of this set will take on the winner of Kansas City and Allen. They're going to take on each other in Game 5. I think that game's already underway. We'll give you an update on that score. And we will also talk with Chiarenza and get his thoughts on tonight's game as the fans are still filing in here. It looks like we got a great night for hockey as we're in business on a Saturday night. And when we come back in 2 minutes, we'll talk with Guy right here on the Grizzlies Hockey Network, presented by Rio Tinto Kennecott.
When you pay with the Nitro card at Maverik, you always save 10 cents or more on fuel every gallon, every day. And you could save a whole lot more thanks to Nitro Best Price. Pick up a Nitro card and upgrade your Adventure Club account today.
I live for my next goal. Whether it's another pick six or another step forward in life, I wouldn't be who I am without the drive to reach it. And I wouldn't be where I am without my team. Everyone on and off the field who supports me and believes in my dreams as much as I do. Whatever your goals are, surround yourself with people who are going to help you reach toward them. Like my friends at America First, and see where life takes you.
Maverik's new bean-to-cup machines always deliver a freshly ground cup of coffee on demand, so you can enjoy any of our premium roasts at their best, day or night, hot or iced. Enjoy a fresh cup today.
If you're out driving and something happens to your car, truck, or even wheelchair, and you end up stuck at a rail crossing, it's going to be okay. Don't panic. Here's what you do. Get out if you can, and look for this blue sign on the metal pole. Call the number on the blue sign, and when they answer, tell them the crossing number. The number is right here. This tells them the exact location of the crossing. This is the fastest way to get trains stopped before coming through the crossing. Look for the blue. It helps you.
Welcome back to Utah Grizzlies hockey. I'm Tyson Whiting here with Guy Chiarenza. It's a pivotal Game 5 of the best-of-7 series. We're tied 2 games apiece. Last night was a classic. Idaho did get a redirection there to win at 3:27 into overtime as Ty Pelton-Weiss redirected the Owen Hendricks shot. This game that really went back and forth, and surprisingly, it was a high-scoring game. Can't imagine we're going to see another high-scoring game tonight, but who really knows? Last night was a thriller. Unfortunately, from the Grizzlies' perspective, just 1 goal short of Idaho. They got a 6-5 victory.
Last night was a great game, Tyson. I mean, every fan that bought a ticket for that game really got their money's worth. It was a great hockey game, back-and-forth action. For the first time in the series, a high-scoring affair, which was a breath of fresh air. Quite refreshing to see some scoring. That was what we saw through the first 3 games, was a defensive battle. So high-scoring affair was fun here at Maverik Center. Grizzlies just came out on the short end once again in overtime, but great game nonetheless.
2 lineup changes for the Grizzlies tonight. The Rooster Jordan Martell is not in there, and neither is Corey Thomas. They've been replaced by Johnny Walker, who's going to be in there. He'll be one of 11 forwards this evening. And Bryson Martin makes his first appearance of the playoffs.
Well, I think the thing about Johnny Walker that I really love by inserting him into the lineup is the fact that he can play and be that net front presence that the Grizzlies desperately need. We saw Kyle Betts have tremendous amount of success in Game 4 by making his money in front of the net and giving Adam Scheel a tough time seeing pucks and also getting those tip-ins out in front. So if Johnny Walker can do the same thing for the Grizzlies, you then have 2 threats that can go and stand in front of Scheel. Not to mention Dylan Fitz is another guy that can go out and do that. So I think I like the addition of Johnny Walker back into the lineup. Brings a little bit of grit. We saw tensions get high in the 3rd period of last night's game. So good to have Johnny Walker back in there. And as for Bryson Martin, this is a guy that I think kind of plays like Aaron Tho, that I think could also help the Grizzlies get a boost offensively as well. He's just puck-moving defenseman, solid on the blue line. Sheriff's back on the case.
I thought it was interesting. You know, the power play has been pretty slow to get underway through the first 3 games of the series. Power plays really exploded in Game 4, and that was part of why we had such a high-scoring game. It'll be interesting to see what kind of adjustments get made on the power plays for both sides.
Well, I think that's the key word right there, Tyson, is adjustments. I mean, both coaches, Kanasowicz and Sheen, did a great job of adapting their power play schemes for their respective clubs. I mean, we saw good penalty kills for the first few games. Then both coaches adapted, really got their power plays going. And so now you kind of wonder what that approach will be going into Game 5. Will you crack down defensively on the penalty kill? And will we see what we saw in the first few games? Best fans in the league. And so will we see what we saw in the first few games on the power play for both teams? Will we see a better penalty kill, or will power plays continue to dominate? It'll be interesting to see how both coaches adapt heading into Game 5.
It was interesting to see the defensive stars, Kyle Mayhew and James Shearer, really emerge. Shearer really what he does away from the puck, and with Mayhew, scored that big game-tying goal halfway through the 3rd period in last night's game, and he's really settled in and played great.
Yeah, he has, Tyson. I mean, at the biggest moment, Grizzlies are down in the game late in the 3rd period. Kyle Mayhew takes that shot, rings the dinner bell, and goes bar down and sends the Grizzlies to a tie game. I really like the poise that he plays with. He picks his head up. He makes smart decisions. And you want to talk about smart decisions, look no further than James Shearer. I mean, this guy, his hockey IQ is just incredible. I mean, he's like the Einstein on defense for the Grizzlies. He always knows where to place his stick. He always knows where to position his body. I mean, you look at the Grizzlies' penalty kill. He's an anchor for them all the time. I mean, he'll just make great plays, and he makes the players around him better. I mean, he really holds that defensive scheme, whether it's on the penalty kill or 5-on-5. Seems like he's always making a smart play.
Who's your pick for the Optum first goal of the game tonight? Optum is committed to making healthcare work better, leading the way to better experiences, better health, and lower costs for you. Who do you think scoring first for the Grizzlies tonight?
Well, Tyson, it's been a quiet series for Brandon Cutler so far. He's only got 1 assist through 4 games, but quiet really isn't really the right word because he's playing quite well. He just hasn't been able to get that first goal of the series. I think that drought ends here tonight. I liked what he's been cooking up. I think it's only a matter of time. Give me Brandon Cutler for the Optum first goal of the game.
You got Cutler. It's kind of a random pick, and I think the big thing is for the Grizzlies that they need to score first tonight and take an early 1-0 lead. After all, the team that has scored first has won each of the first 4 games of this series. Cutler, I think, is a pretty good choice. I'm going with Kyle Betts. I think the forward line, you replace Martell with Raby in that second line, Raby, Wright, and Betts. They were outstanding last night, and I think that's going to be a key for the Grizzlies, that forward line can stay hot this evening. So Watch out for Kyle Betts tonight. I think he gets Utah's first goal.
Oh, and Kyle Betts had an outstanding game 4. I mean, he really was doing everything right. I mean, when plays needed to be made, he was making plays, whether it was camping out in front of the net and getting a tip in, cashing it on a goal in game 4, or was winning those battles along the boards or winning draws in the faceoff circle. Kyle Betts did it all, and he really had a great game for the Grizzlies.
Guy and I will be sitting high atop section 114 tonight with a lot of our friends, and we'll be enjoying some great hockey as Grizzlies take on the Steelheads for Game 5 of the best-of-7 series. When we come back in 1 minute, we will go over the starting lineups for both teams. This is the Grizzlies Hockey Network.
Maverik's new bean-to-cup machines always deliver a freshly ground cup of coffee on demand, so you can enjoy any of our premium roasts at their best, day or night, hot or iced. Enjoy a fresh cup today.
When you pay with the Nitro card at Maverik, you always save 10 cents or more on fuel every gallon, every day. And you could save a whole lot more thanks to Nitro Best Price. Pick up a Nitro card and upgrade your Adventure Club account today.
Welcome back to Utah Grizzlies Hockey. I'm Tyson Whiting here with Guy Chiarenza. Let's go over the starting lineups for both teams. First, for the visiting Idaho Steelheads, who are led by the 2023 ECHL Coach of the Year, Everett Sheen. His assistant is Keenan Kelly. Obviously, Idaho's won 2 of the first 4 games of this series and won games 3 and 4 in overtime. How about this for a fun fact? The last time that Idaho defeated Utah in the postseason in regulation was April 23rd of 2010. Each of the last 8 victories that Idaho has had over Utah in the postseason have come in overtime. 2 this season, 4 of them in a row in the 2019 Kelly Cup playoffs. And Utah in 2015 defeated Idaho 4-2, but both of Idaho's victories in the 2015 playoffs came in overtime. It's going to be interesting to see what happens here tonight. If you're the Grizzlies, you want to win in regulation. Obviously, Utah has won 7 games against Idaho all time in the playoffs. All 7 of those games ended in regulation. Starting in net for the Steelheads is Adam Scheel, who in 4 games this series has a 2-2 record with a 2.74 goals against average and 904 save percentage. Scheel in the regular season had a 932 save percentage and 1.97 goals against average. The starting defensive pairing for Idaho tonight, Casey Johnson, who has 2 penalty minutes in 4 games. He's 6'2", 200 pounds. He'll be paired up with Dawson Bardo, who has 2 assists in 4 games. Bardo spent some time this season as well with the Texas Stars, but he spent the majority of the season with the Idaho Steelheads. A couple notable absences among their defensive unit. Demetrius Kumatsis is out, but Matt Register's out for the 3rd straight game. He was a plus 53 for the Steelheads this season, and he's certainly a big loss to the Idaho unit. So Register and Kumatsis are the 2 defensemen that are out of the Idaho lineup. We will see Nick Canadi replace Kumatsis, who played in Game 4. Canadi will be appearing in his first playoff game. Also watch out for the defensive pairing of Owen Hedrick and Patrick Kubla. They're 2 of the best defensemen in the league, and really when you pair them up, they might be the best defensive pairing in the league. Starting forwards for the Steelheads, Wade Murphy, who has 2 goals and 1 assist in 4 playoff games. He'll be in there. Last night's hero and number 1 star was A.J. White. He had 2 goals and 1 assist last night. He's got 4 points in 4 playoff games, 2 goals and 2 assists. He is the Idaho captain. He'll be wearing number 18, and Jordan Kawaguchi, who appeared in Game 3 and 4. He did not play in the first 2 games. He has 1 goal and 1 assist. Both of them came in last night's game, so that's a starting forward pairing. Wade Murphy, A.J. White, and Jordan Kawaguchi. A couple other forwards that have been hot. I mentioned Murphy, White, and Kawaguchi. All 3 of those guys had a multiple-point game last night. Willie Niram scored the game winner in Game 3, 26 seconds into overtime, and he's been outstanding for Idaho in this series. Also watch out for the physical play of Colton Keller and Zane Franklin. And Justin Misiak, his speed's made an impact in this series. He's got 2 assists in 4 playoff games. Now let's get to the lineup for the Utah Grizzlies, who are led by second-year head coach Ryan Kanaswich. His assistant is the Sandy, Utah native Jared Pike. Starting in net, it's going to be Trent Miner. who's appeared in every game in this series. Miner's got a record of 2-0-2 with 1 shutout, a 2.71 goals against average, and 932 save percentage. The backup goaltender tonight is Salt Lake City native Garrett Metcalf. The starting defensive pairing for the Grizzlies, Kyle Mayhew, who scored a big goal 8.5 minutes into the third period. He's got 2 goals and 1 assist and a +4 rating in 4 games. He'll be paired up with Aaron Tho, who's got 2 assists in 4 games this series. He also has a +4 rating. Playing for the first time in the postseason is Bryson Martin. He played in 2 playoff games earlier in his pro career. He'll be wearing number 14, no relation to Luke Martin, who's also in the Grizzlies lineup. Luke has 1 assist in 4 games this series. James Scheer will be in there, as well as the captain, Connor McDonald. 6 defensemen for the Grizzlies tonight. Corey Thomas and Kyle Pouncey will be scratches. Starting forwards for the Grizzlies, Johnny Walker, the Arizona State product. He'll be in there for the 4th time this series. He'll be paired up with Keaton Jamison, who scored a late first period goal last night. Jamison has a +3 rating and 3 points in 4 games. And Tyler Penner, the Grizzlies Iron Man. You bet he's going to be in there. He's got 2 assists and a +3 rating in 4 games this series. The other forwards we're expected to see tonight include Taryn Pfizer, as well as Nolan Ritchie. Dylan Fitz will be in there. He's got 2 goals in 4 playoff games this series. Cameron Wright leads the Grizzlies with 6 points in 4 playoff games. He'll be in there, as well as Zach Sekos, who's playing for the second time since March 26th against Cincinnati. Sekos had 1 goal in last night's game. That came in the first period. Dakota Raby will also be in there, and Brandon Cutler and Kyle Betts for the Grizzlies. So starting forwards once again are Walker, Jamison, and Penner, but we will also see Pfizer, Ritchie, along with Fitz, Wright, Sekos, Raby, Cutler, and Kyle Betts. A couple notable absences among the forwards. The Rooster, Jordan Martell, is not in there tonight. He was the league player of the week just 2 weeks ago, the final week of the regular season. Martell has 1 goal and 2 assists in 4 playoff games, but he is not in the Grizzlies lineup tonight. And Mick Messner, who appeared in 1 game earlier this series, is also a scratch. Interesting lineup tonight, and I got a feeling that forward line of Raby, Betts, and Wright, they're not going to be the starting forwards, but I got a feeling they're going to have a big game tonight.
I agree, Tyson. I really think that was the energy line for the Grizzlies in Game 4. If they're able to replicate that here in Game 5, it could be a good night for the Grizzlies.
When we come back in 90 seconds, we will have face-off here at Maverik Center. It's the Grizzlies and the Steelheads. Utah wearing the black jerseys with white numbers and professional green trim. Idaho wearing the same white jersey that they wore in Game 3 and 4. Black numbers, black lettering, a little bit of blue mixed in. We come back, we'll have face-off here at Maverik Center on the Grizzlies Hockey Network.
If you're out driving and something happens to your car, truck, or even wheelchair, and you end up stuck at a rail crossing, it's going to be okay. Don't panic. Here's what you do. Get out if you can and look for this blue sign on the metal pole. Call the number on the blue sign, and when they answer, tell them the crossing number. The number is right here. This tells them the exact location of the crossing. This is the fastest way to get trains stopped before coming through the crossing. Look for the blue. It helps you.
I live for my next goal. Whether it's another pick six or another step forward in life, I wouldn't be who I am without the drive to reach it. And I wouldn't be where I am without my team. Everyone on and off the field who supports me and believes in my dreams as much as I do. Whatever your goals are, surround yourself with people who are going to help you reach toward them. Like my friends at America First, and see where life takes you.
Expectations here will always remain high, and we'll continue to find a way.
Guys put together a lot of good games, you know.
It's a great night for hockey as it's the pivotal Game 5 of the best-of-7 series between the Grizzlies and the Idaho Steelheads. You can't underestimate the importance of this game. Game 6 will be necessary over in Boise on Monday night. It's essentially a 2 out of 3 series now, as the first to get 2 more wins will take the series. I'm Tyson Whiting here with Guy Chiarenza. We got an outstanding goaltending matchup once again. Adam Schill is on the Idaho side, and Trent Miner for the Grizzlies. It's game 5, and both of them have appeared in every game in this series. It's going to be interesting to see what kind of start we get offensively. We saw a lot of rockets, and we saw a lot of action early on as Utah scored 4 first-period goals, and Idaho countered with 2. Guy, I don't expect nearly that much scoring in the first period, but what do you expect here in the first 20 minutes?
I don't either, Tyson, but I really think, and you mentioned at the top of the pregame that it's important that the Grizzlies get that first goal, as whoever scored the first goal has won each game of this series. So I think for the Grizzlies, it's about getting off to a fast start and getting that first goal and building around that lead and playing a complete solid 60 minutes.
The 2 referees tonight are Austin O'Rourke and Michael Zila. The linesmen are Craig Peterson and Tyler Keston. Taking the draw is Keaton Jamison against A.J. White. As a draw won by the Grizzlies, they skate from right to left as we see it from high top section 114. Your mind's eye see it on YouTube as Kyle Mayhew moves ahead to Penner at center ice. He'll dump it in as Shield behind his net. We'll give it to Casey Johnson, who taps it towards the far side. Kawaguchi gets hit by Tho. Right point shot saved by Shield. Pass ahead. A.J. White skates down the middle. He's got a breakaway. He'll skate in. Backhand shot. Oh, didn't get a shot off. And now he throws it out in front to Kawaguchi. Murphy to the right side, feeds up top for Bardo. Take a right wing shot, and it goes wide. As Miner got knocked down, Kawaguchi battles. Left point shot hits the side of the net. Kawaguchi towards the near goal line, gets knocked down by Tho. Mayhew gets the puck. He'll throw it to Penner. He'll chip it high into the air. It bounces and is gloved by Bardo. Bardo pitches ahead to Kawaguchi at the Idaho blue line. Still had skating from left to right here in the first period as Kawaguchi throws it across to Bardo. As Bardo, over in the near circle of his own zone, will push it across as it goes to Hedrick, who's behind Idaho's net. 1 minute in, no score. Neither team's taken a shot yet. Bardo flings it out to center ice. It ricochets off the far boards. Raby couldn't reach it. His college teammate at Michigan, Luke Martin, can. Across to Shure, he dumps it in. Wright gets a piece of it. Betts chases after it. Bardo spins along the wall as Ryan Domowski moves out to center ice and on to Martin near the Grizzlies bench. Goes back to Cameron Wright as he'll skate across center ice down the middle, bouncing off of Betts. Hedrick moves it ahead as it's a neutral ice. Domowski across the tie, Pelton Bice, last night's hero. He gets to center ice and he lifts it in. Martin gets knocked down along the end boards. Haskin in the attack zone over to Domowski. Domowski over towards Haskin and he couldn't handle it. Puck around the net. Domowski skates over there. He skates towards the far corner. He'll chip it up top for Haskinen. Left point, righty shot. I'll get redirected and goes wide as he was looking for Pelton Bice out in front. As Zach Sekos lifts out to center ice. It's gloved and dropped by number 11, Justin Ducharme. As now Colton Keller for Idaho gets it right wing. He'll lift it in the air. It goes over the head of Bryson Martin, who's making his first appearance in the series for Utah. It's his first shift out on the ice wearing number 14. Martin gets the puck. He's on the far side. He'll move it ahead. Pfizer now to Sekos down the middle across center ice. He tried to chip it to his left. Haskinen picked it off. Ducharme tried to dump it in. Martin took it away. He'll slide it across to McDonald. Now over to Martin, who falls down. Puck goes to Cutler at neutral ice. Cutler at the Utah blue line. He'll ski towards his right. He'll chip it to his left for Martin. Bryson Martin gains center ice, and he'll wrap it around the boards. Kawaguchi throws it back towards Nick Canati, who's appearing for the first time for Idaho in this series. Pass ahead to Murphy. He redirects it at center ice. It goes deep in the Grizzlies zone. Miner will bounce it off to McDonald behind Utah's net. He gets tripped up by Kawaguchi. No call. Out to the high slot. Murphy, righty shots blocked. It goes over to McDonald, who chips out to Nolan Ritchie at center ice, left wing. Ritchie gains the line. He skates towards the left circle. Take a lefty shot, and it's blocked by Bardo. Now Cameron right back in. Shot saved by Shield. Make that Keaton Jamison, who took the shot out in front after Ritchie's shot was blocked. Grizzlies get the first shot of the game, and it was 3 minutes in. Still no score. It's kind of odd that it took 3 minutes before either team was able to take a shot.
It is odd because both teams traded some really great chances. I think it was a great defensive play by Kyle Mayhew to shut down A.J. White on the breakaway, who was the first star of last night's game, having 2 goals and 1 assist. So that's a guy to watch out for on the Idaho side of things.
White will take the draw against Jamison. We're just underway. Everybody's still filing in here to Maverik Center. Draw one by the Grizzlies. Ritchie lefty shot. He scores! Nolan Ritchie fires a blast from the left wing. And exactly 3 minutes in, Utah's taking a 1-0 lead.
What a wicked shot from Nolan Ritchie, but it starts by winning that face-off. Offensive zone draw, they get it right to Ritchie. And he does not waste any time putting that puck in the back of the net.
Nolan Ritchie fired away. He had 1 goal in the regular season late for Utah. And 1 goal and 1 assist in 5 games. Utah won the draw, and it just went to Ritchie. He just fired away. Got past Adam Shield. Utah's taking the first 2 shots of the contest. Ritchie with the goal, and Jamison, who won the faceoff, gets the assist. Grizzlies win the draw as Aaron Thogue crosses center ice. He dumps it in. Shield throws to the far corner. Hedrick spins it around as Zane Franklin near side loses it. Now Franklin takes it away from Mayhew. He chases after it. Right circle. Franklin loses his stick. He got slashed. And it's going to be a penalty on Aaron Thogue. And as Utah touches up, Zane Franklin got slashed by Aaron Thogue in the corner as Franklin was chasing after the puck. And for the first time tonight, Utah will be shorthanded. It's a power play as Aaron Thogue gets 2 minutes for slashing. 16:43 left in the first.
Well, I think that's the second time in this game so far where the Steelheads have had a quick breakout like that. First, we saw White go the other way. Now it's a 2-on-1 that emerges as Mayhew gets caught pinching, and Aaron throws the guy chasing back, and he just tries to cut off Franklin. Instead, just gets that slash. It's a penalty that you don't want to take, but Grizzlies go back, or will they start on the penalty kill in this game?
Idaho's power play is 3 for 20 so far in the series. They were 2 for 5 last night. Though gets Smits for slashing, 3:17 in. Idaho wins the draw. Bardo throws to Hedrick. Now Kawaguchi now to Ducharme. One-timer, he scores! And just like that, we're tied up as 26 seconds after Nolan Ritchie scored, Justin Ducharme fired away on a one-timer from the right circle. They got it past Trent Miner. A lot of Idaho Steelheads fans have made the trip, and they're mostly behind the Steelheads bench as they stand and applaud as Justin Ducharme gets the goal on a pass from Kawaguchi. Some net front traffic by A.J. White. I don't think he redirected it, though, as Ducharme skated to the bench first.
And there might have been a screen there on Trent Miner, but either way, that's a really well-placed shot from Justin Ducharme. The Steelheads tie this thing up.
We're tied at 1 as Ducharme gets his first goal of the series in the regular season. He had 14 goals in 43 games. Ty Pelton-Bice and Jordan Kawaguchi will get the assists. Utah's outshot Idaho 2-1. Interesting at 2 of the first 3 shots of the contest have found the back of the net. Idaho wins the draw. Domowski dumps it in. Miner behind his net, feeds it to the near side. It goes past Bryce Martin onto Raby. He'll move it ahead to Betts, who slides it towards Cameron Wright, who chases after it in the near corner. Wright collides with Patrick Cudlow. It goes behind Idaho's net. Betts battles with Hedrick. Now Raby in the far corner loses the puck as Idaho slides it ahead to Jade Miller, who feeds it across to Niram. He's in the slot. He'll drop by off to the right circle for Hedrick. Now Domowski, right wing shot, saved by Miner. Rebound goes back to Domowski. He tried to kick it over towards Niram. It rolls to the near corner as Miller slides it up top for Hedrick, who gets the Cudlow in the high slot. They'll throw it to Hedrick, who's now on the left point. Now across to Domowski down the middle. He looked for a shot, and Raby did a good job taking his time and space away. Wright gets hit by Cudlow in the right point as Jade Miller skates towards the right corner. Now he dances back towards the point. He centers it. It's picked off by Sekos, who slides it to Raby, who collides with Keller, but Raby keeps the puck. Raby throws to the near side for Bryce Martin, who gets the center ice. He tried to dump it in, but he got spun around by Colton Keller. Pass ahead to Ducharme, the goal scorer. He gets hit by McDonald along the near boards. Now Idaho looks to center to Keller, and it's picked off by Cutler. He'll slide it to center ice. It goes to Heiskanen. He'll throw a left wing pass to Keller, who spins it along the wall. Bryce Martin cuts it off behind Utah's net. He'll chip it to Cutler as Brandon Cutler gets hit by Ducharme. Goes back to Sekos. He'll skate towards his own corner on the near side. We're about 5 minutes in. We're tied at 1. Both teams have taken 2 shots. Sekos back behind his net wearing number 17. He played his college hockey at Clarkson University. As now Sekos will skate towards the far side and he'll get it to Cutler. Cutler gets the neutral ice. He'll move it ahead. Pfizer chases after it. No icing as the puck rims around the boards. Pfizer chips to the left side for Cutler. He'll look to center to Sekos, but the puck ended up on his backhand. He couldn't handle it. Idaho clears it out. Though chases after it. The whistle blows and icing is on Idaho with 14:36 left in the first.
Well, we could be in for another wild game here at the Maverik Center. We saw a lot of scoring in last night's affair, 11 total goals. You could see the same thing here tonight. I think for the key for the Grizzlies is just to win that face-off battle, get possession, and start going to work in the offensive zone. We've already seen them score a goal off of winning a face-off, so I think every draw in this series has been critical.
Draw in the near circle of Idaho's zone is won by Utah. Shearer throws it across to Martin, right point. Luke Martin fires it around the boards, goes over to Jamison. Now to Johnny Walker. He'll take a left wing shot that's blocked as Idaho's Colton Keller lifts it high into the air. Almost hit the video board, but didn't. Martin in the Grizzly zone across to Shearer. He'll slide it out to new center ice for Ritchie. It glances off of his stick and flies towards Shield. As taking the puck is Casey Johnson. He'll throw it to the right side. Martin with a blast, and it's blocked. As the puck goes out to center ice, Ritchie gets it near Utah's bench. He'll lift it out towards the penalty box area. Bardo gathers it. He'll skate along the right wing. He gets to the circle. Bardo stops near the corner wearing number 51. He'll get to A.J. White. He'll slide it towards the goal line. Around the net, Misiak. Over to the left side. Shot blocked. As Johnson took the shot. Now Bardo fires towards the net. It gets redirected by a stick. And rolls towards the left side. Misiak centers it. Shearer throws it back to the far corner. Martin feeds it from one corner to the other as Shearer skates over there. He collides with Misiak as Jamison slides it across to Luke Martin, who moves out to Johnny Walker, who gets out to neutral ice. Walker slides near the Grizzlies bench. He'll throw it towards center ice, and the puck is picked off by Zane Franklin as the pass didn't have much on it. Kawaguchi dumps it in. He'll chase after it, as well as Jade Miller. Though gets the puck, he'll throw it to Cutler on the near side. They'll move it out to center ice. Fitz gets it. He skates down the middle. Fitz with good speed. Has the puck roll off his stick on a shield. He'll throw it back towards the near corner. Cutler fires it off the far wing boards. As though dives and centers it. It's taken away by Hedrick. Idaho slides it out to center ice. As Kawaguchi will tap it off the near glass. It goes deep in the Grizzlies zone. Though behind Utah's net. Will chip it towards the far wing. Fitz has a glance off his stick as Hedrick chases after it. No icing. Grizzlies make a line change. Hedrick gets the puck. He'll throw it to the near side for Kawaguchi at center ice. Now head to Cutler, who drops it off for Murphy. Murphy feeds it across. It glanced off the far boards. Cameron Wright flies along the right wing. He enters the zone. He chips out towards Raby. It gets picked off by Domowski. Domowski has it hit off the stick of Pelton Bice down the slot. Cameron Wright, one-timer, and it goes high. Stays in play off the glass. Martin left side. Shots blocked by Domowski. Now Martin towards center ice. Gets to the center ice logo for McDonald. Now to Raby in the near side to lift it in the air. It's cut off by Domowski. Now Willie Niram towards neutral ice. Trying to get to Domowski. He couldn't reach it. Bryson Martin moves ahead. Niram gets his long stick in the way. Now Niram slides into center ice. Goes back to Martin. Who will wrap it around the boards. As Cody Haskinen over in the far corner deep in the Steelhead zone will start the attack. As Idaho skating from left to right here in the first period. We're tied at 1, 8 minutes in. Grizzlies have outshot the Steelheads 3-2. Pass from one blue line to the other. Taps off a Grizzly stick. It goes deep in the Utah zone. And now the Grizz, as Taran Pfizer gets it to Sekos, who gains center ice. Left wing pass to Cutler, who gets the line, stops to the left point, fires a side pass, shot, saved by Shield. What a pass there as Pfizer took the shot, and Shield made the save. Idaho ices the puck. The linesman skates over there and enthusiastically raises his right arm. As icing is on the Steelheads. 11:36 left in the first.
Not a lot of shots so far in this game, Tyson. Only 6 total, 4 for the Grizzlies, 2 for the Steelheads, but a ton of scoring chances. And I love that look there most recently for the Grizzlies. I think they're cooking up something special. I really like that line with Cutler, Pfizer, and Sekos. I think that's a special line for the Grizzlies. I think that might be the key for them winning this game.
Sekos take the draw for Utah. 11:36 left in the first. We're tied at 1. As Pfizer gets it after Utah wins the face-off. Left wing, shot, kick saved by Shield in the butterfly position. Goes over to Haskinen, near corner. He gets double-teamed and moves ahead to Niram, who will lead it out to center ice. A.J. White chasing after it. Shearer gets there first. As James Shearer with good speed will stop behind Miner's net. And he'll survey the landscape as he'll throw it to the far side for Martin. We'll chip it out to Pfizer near the Grizzlies bench at neutral ice. He moves it ahead to Cutler. Brandon Cutler skates towards the right circle. Backhand shot, saved by Shield. Rebound shot, saved by Shield. Cutler had the first shot, and then Zach Sekos came in on a drive-by, took a shot, but Shield was able to hold on. 11:05 left in the first period. We're tied at 1 as Justin Ducharme scored for Idaho, and for Utah, it was Nolan Ritchie. Both teams' number 11s have found the back of the net. We're back in 30 seconds on the Grizzlies Hockey Network.
If you're out driving and something happens to your car, truck, or even wheelchair, and you end up stuck at a rail crossing, it's going to be okay. Don't panic. Here's what you do. Get out if you can and look for this blue sign on the metal pole. Call the number on the blue sign, and when they answer, tell them the crossing number. The number is right here. This tells them the exact location of the crossing. This is the fastest way to get trains stopped before coming through the crossing. Look for the blue. It helps you.
Welcome back to Maverik Center. I'm Tyson Whiting. Utah scored exactly 3 minutes in as Nolan Ritchie picked up his first of the playoffs. He had 1 regular season goal in 5 games. And the assist went to Keaton Jamison. And then 26 seconds later on the power play, Justin Ducharme scored from the right side with Kawaguchi and Dawson Bardo getting the assist. Guy, what have you seen so far?
Well, Tyson, I mean, it's just been a lot of scoring chances, but I think the key for the Grizzlies is that while Idaho has some chances in the Grizzlies zone, they've only got 2 shots on the board. So if the Grizzlies can find a way to limit Idaho's shots, I think they'll be in good shape defensively. But Idaho had the most recent goal, and as we learned in Game 4, it's a game of momentum. The Grizzlies need to find a way to get that momentum back and put the next one behind Shield.
11:05 left in the first. Utah's outshot Idaho 7-2. Draws in the far circle. Jamison will take it against Idaho's Jade Miller. Taryn Pfizer has 2 shots to lead Utah. 5 other skaters have 1 shot. For Idaho, Justin Ducharme and Ryan Domowski each have 1 shot for the Steelheads. Jamison, Ducharme will take the draw as Miller got kicked out of the circle. And the face-off's won by Idaho. They skate from left to right here in the first period. As Colton Keller loses it, goes bent towards the near side as Miller moves ahead to Ducharme. He's got good speed. He'll skate towards the left circle. He'll take a lefty shot. Saved by Minor. Puck still in play. As Colton Keller, right side, sharp angled. Shot, righty shot hits the side of the net. As Jamison over towards Ritchie, moves out to center ice for Walker. It's picked off by Casey Johnson. He loses he was entering the attack zone. Pass to Ritchie goes past him. It goes to center ice. Jade Miller will throw it back towards Adam Shield, the Idaho netminder, as Utah makes a line change. Bardo slides to center ice for Keller. Glanced off his stick and flies out of play off the protective netting. 10:27 left in the first. Drawn's going to come back to center ice.
I think for the Grizzlies right now, I think a player to watch for is Luke Martin. And this is a guy that's been familiar with the Grizzlies, played with them last season on their run to the Western Conference Finals. Has had a really quiet series so far. I think if he can be an impact here in Game 5, the Grizzlies have a chance to win.
The winner of this series will take on the winner of Allen and Kansas City. The 5th game of that series is at Credit Union of Texas Event Center. Allen leads 3-1 with 5.5 minutes left in the second period. That series is also tied 2 games apiece. Grizzlies win the draw. Kyle Betts loses at center ice, goes to Patrick Cudla at the Idaho blue line. Across to Hedrick. He moves ahead to Franklin. He didn't get a piece of it, but no icing as Mesiat paddles behind the net with Aaron Tho. Puck slides towards the far side. Right chips it out to center ice. It goes to Franklin or the Idaho's bench. He'll get to Hedrick, the league's best defenseman this season. Now to Cudla, over towards Bice, back to Cudla. It's Idaho doing a good job moving the puck around. They try to get to Franklin at center ice. He couldn't reach it. Grizzlies get it back as Tho, back towards Mayhew, who will skate it out to center ice. Mayhew will drive it in. He's got outstanding speed. It'll glide towards the Idaho blue line as the Steelheads have the puck deep in their own zone. As Cudla spins along the near wall, it goes to Bryson Martin, who gathers it in the Grizzlies' end. As Martin chips out to center ice for Wright, who dumps it in. He'll come off the ice for a change, as does Dakota Raby. As Cudla gathers it behind Idaho's net. 9.5 minutes left in the first period. We're still tied at 1. As Cudla now to the side of the net. Surveys, he'll throw it to the far side as Idaho very methodical with their approach in the first period. Now Hedrick to the right side, skates towards the circle. Righty shot, saved by Minor. Now to the near goal line. Kawaguchi chips to the point. Nobody's there as it goes out to center ice. Haskin chases it down to the Idaho blue line. So back pedal towards his own goal line. Now across to Nick Canati, who's got great speed. Mesiak over towards Murphy, who skates down the middle. Now he veers off to the left. Good poke check by McDonald. As Pfizer clears it to neutral ice of Idaho territory. Steelheads will dump it back in as Martin will bounce it off of Murphy. Ritchie goes down. He gets back to his feet. He tried to move it ahead to Sekos. It gets cut off by White. As now Sekos gets it left wing across the center ice. Haskinen with a big-time hit at the Idaho blue line. And Nick Canati gathers the puck. He'll throw it ahead to Murphy, who drives it in on a one-time tap. As Minor behind his net throws it to Shearer. Both teams make a line change. 8.5 minutes left in the first period. We're still tied at 1. Grizz about shot the Steelheads 7-4. Shearer behind his own net. And so he'll throw it to the far side as Tyler Penner leads it out to Ritchie, who taps it in from just outside the Idaho blue line. Shield behind his net will throw it towards Ducharme. It goes towards Luke Martin. As the puck lifts in the air, it goes back to Idaho. As Domowski gains center ice, right wing, he'll skate towards the right circle. He'll take a lefty shot, and it's blocked by Shearer. As the puck taps off the boards and rolls towards the far side. Fitz gathers it, he'll cross center ice, and he'll backhand it in. Grizzlies make a full line change. Less than 8 minutes left in the first period. We're still tied at 1. Casey Johnson behind his net. As the Steelheads skate from left to right here in the first period. Cameron Wright in the ice, shadowing Johnson as Johnson throws to the near side for Bardo. He'll tap it towards Willie Nerum. Pass didn't connect, and icing is on the Steelheads. With 7:37 left in the first, it's kind of interesting to see Idaho with a little bit more of a patient approach here tonight.
Yeah, they are being a little bit more patient than they were in last night's game. Idaho was pretty aggressive on the attack. Seems like today they're trying to utilize those stretch passes through the neutral zone, kind of catch the Grizzlies napping at center ice, but Grizzlies have done a good job of coming them off the blue line.
Kyle Betts will take the draw against Ryan Domowski, as we're still early on, so grab some chips and dip and maybe a beverage of your choice and enjoy a little bit of Saturday with us. As a draw won by the Grizzlies, James Shearer throws to Martin in the right point. He'll fire towards the net. It goes wide. Johnson gets it off the boards as he battles with Cameron Wright. He'll slide it ahead as Idaho throws to the left point. Shearer cuts it off. Lefty shot. It gets redirected and goes wide as Domowski battles behind Idaho's net. He'll throw it towards Ducharme. He's in the far corner. He'll chip it ahead. Wright tries to cut it off. Domowski gets it. As he crosses center ice, Domowski skates towards his right. He's battling with 4 Grizzlies. Shearer pokes it away. Kyle Betts gets it. As Betts gets to center ice, he'll dump it in. As the bouncing puck hits off the backboard, Schill spins along the far wall. As Keller delivers a hit on Luke Martin. As Wright to the right point gets it, he'll chip it across to Martin. Pass is picked off. As having a breakaway is A.J. White. He skates down the middle. Backhand shot saved by Miner. There's actually Misiak who took the shot, and Miner makes the save with 6:50 left in the first. Boy, Misiak picked it off and then had a breakaway. Trying to put a move on Miner, and then went backhand to forehand, and Miner was able to make the save.
What a read for Trent Miner. Just stays the course and makes a big-time save on a big-time player. Misiak's got a ton of speed, just going to break in, try and slip it 5-hole on Miner, which they have had a few goals come that way for Idaho this series, but Miner was able to close the door.
Draw's going to be in the near circle of the Grizzlies zone. Jade Miller will take it against Keaton Jamison. We're tied at 1. Less than 7 minutes left in the first period. Utah wins it as McDonald throws it to Bryson Martin, who's playing for the first time this series. Ahead to Keaton Jamison across the center ice. He veers off to the left and drops it for Ritchie. Left point, lefty shot, saved by Schill. And the Idaho netminder holds on. Shot would have gone wide, but Schill gloves it with 6:38 left in the first.
What we've seen already, Tyson, you talked about it in the pregame. That line with Betts, Wright, and Raby really just making a name for themselves out in front of the net, just camping out in front, trying to get a screen in front of the shield. We see this line here with Jamison doing it as well. Johnny Walker being that net front presence. That's what the Grizzlies are aiming for. We've seen a lot of goals off of tip-ins and screens in this series.
6:38 left in the first. Jamison will take the draw against Jade Miller. And the face-off won by the Grizzlies. Nolan Ritchie. He'll take a lefty shot and it's blocked. He tried to reenact that first goal. McDonald right wing shot. Glove saved by Shield. He holds on with 6:32 left in the first. It was interesting. Utah won the face-off. Jamison got to Ritchie, and it looked like a reenactment of Ritchie's goal 3 minutes in, but he just didn't have that shooting angle that he had previously.
Hey, you ride the hot hand. I mean, you go with what works. And so the Grizzlies knew that was a play that they scored on previously. Why not try it again? And again, I love Johnny Walker just going out in front of the net, trying to give Shield a tough time and let Nolan Ritchie rip that shot. And you're hoping that Shield doesn't see it. And so I think that's a play that we might see the Grizzlies do a few more times in this game and later on in the series as well.
It's good to see Bryson Martin out there for the first time in the playoffs. In 53 regular season games for the Grizzlies, he had 2 goals and 11 assists. Idaho wins the draw. They'll throw it out to center ice. Jamison near the Grizzlies bench avoids a check of Franklin. They'll chip it across to Ritchie, who's been good tonight. Ritchie left point, throws it towards the corner. Walker battles with Canadi. Those two collide as Cody Heiskanen flips it from one corner to the other. Zane Franklin will tap it across. It's cut off by Walker at center ice. Johnny Walker, the Arizona State product, dumps it in. He'll chase after it. Heiskanen behind the net gets blasted by Johnny Walker, who had 12 goals this season. Pass ahead. Franklin couldn't reach it. No icing as Franklin over to the far corner gets the puck. As Tho shadowing him. Tho drags down Franklin. Sekos gets the puck. Right wing, he enters the zone. Drops it up for Tho. Skates towards the right circle. Take a lefty shot and it goes wide. He's got blocked by Bardo. Now Cutler, right circle. Take a lefty shot and hits the side of the net. Tho behind the net, trying to chip it out in front to Cutler. He couldn't reach it. Kawaguchi throws it towards the far wing boards. Franklin goes down. Grizzlies keep it in the zone. Mayhew will tap it off the boards. Bardo gathers it. He'll feed it across to Heiskanen. Now back to Bardo on the far side. He'll slide it ahead. Pass connects as Idaho skates in. A.J. White backhand shot. Saved by Miner. Long range pass connected. A.J. White gathered at the Utah blue line. Skated down the middle. He took a backhand shot, but Miner made the save. 5:24 left in the first period. We're tied at 1. We'll be back in 1 minute on the Grizzlies Hockey Network.
If you're out driving and something happens to your car, truck, or even wheelchair, and you end up stuck at a rail crossing, it's going to be okay. Don't panic. Here's what you do. Get out if you can and look for this blue sign on the metal pole. Call the number on the blue sign, and when they answer, tell them the crossing number. The number is right here. This tells them the exact location of the crossing. This is the fastest way to get trains stopped before coming through the crossing. Look for the blue. It helps you.
I live for my next goal. Whether it's another pick six or another step forward in life, I wouldn't be who I am without the drive to reach it. And I wouldn't be where I am without my team. Everyone on and off the field who supports me and believes in my dreams as much as I do. Whatever your goals are, surround yourself with people who are going to help you reach toward them. Like my friends at America First, and see where life takes you.
Oh, in the YouTube chat, there's Clark Phillips, the commercial that was the America First Credit Union commercial. Clark Phillips got drafted by the Atlanta Falcons today, 113th overall, so congratulations. I think we played that commercial, 10,000 times this season?
Many times. I mean, Grizzlies fans are probably well aware of who he is. So now he's going to be an Atlanta Falcon, so congratulations to him.
Draws the near circle. We've had a good start to this game. We're tied at 1. Grizzlies scored first. Nolan Ritchie exactly 3 minutes in, with Jamison getting the assist, and then 3:27 in. Ducharme got a power play goal from the right side. Kawaguchi and Bardo with the assist. Utah leads the shot count 9-6. Drawn in the near circle is won by Kyle Betts and the Grizzlies. Utah skates from right to left here as we see it in the first period. Cameron Wright in the far corner over towards Martin. He slides it across towards Shearer. As Grizzlies try to exit the zone, Johnson picks it off. He'll take a lefty shot. Saved by Minor. As Shearer tried to throw it along the near wing boards, it was cut off by Johnson, who fired a shot from the near boards. Minor made a routine save with 5:10 left in the first.
Good save there for Minor, but really what we've seen throughout the course of this first period is when the Steelheads try and go on the attack, they're trying to utilize those stretch passes through the neutral zone, and they're connecting. That's why they've had at least 4 breakaways for the Steelheads in this first period, a few of them belonging to A.J. White. That's a shifty player, and you can't let him have that chance. Grizzlies need to tighten up here in the neutral zone.
Betts and Bice will take the draw in the near circle, and it looks like they're laughing it off. The linesman's yet to drop the puck. Crowd still filing in here late in the first period. And the draw is won by Idaho. Domowski, right wing shot. And it gets blocked by the stick of Arabian. Flies out of play. 5:08 left in the first. We'll have another draw in the Grizzly zone.
That's another guy to watch out for, Tyson. Number 15 in white, Ryan Domowski. Had an assist in game 4. But it seems like every time he's on the ice, he gives the Steelheads a chance to score. So the defense is probably well aware of where he is at all times.
Domowski led the Steelheads with 30 goals this season. Draw won by Utah after it was bobbled for a second. Raby moves ahead. It glanced off the skate of Domowski. Now Raby gets it back over to Betts. Now Cameron Wright, right side. Righty shot. Stick saved by Shield. Puck goes to the near corner. Raby around the net. He's battling with Bardo. Bardo drags down Raby. And the puck goes to the far corner. Betts battles with Johnson. Kawaguchi over in the area. Now goes to Willie Niram. As he'll wrap it around the boards. Bardo cuts it off behind Idaho's net. He'll skate towards the far side. He'll chip it backhand pass out to the Idaho blue line. Willie Niram gets it. He crosses center ice. Niram towards the left side. Skates towards the circle. He stops. Surveys. Now he throws up top for Hedrick. He'll take a righty shot that goes wide. Cutler will skate towards the near wing boards. He gets it in the right side. Now to Hedrick in the high slot. Back to the right circle for Domowski. One-timer. He didn't get much on it. Minor makes a save. Rebound goes to Shearer. Now to Luke Martin around Utah's net. We're tied at 1 with about 4 minutes left in the first. Over to Cameron Wright, who drops it across for Penner. He'll chip it to his right as Brandon Cutler, right circle, skates towards his left. He'll slide it to Bryson Martin. Left circle, take a lefty shot. Saved by Shield. Now the puck ends up towards the slot. It gets kicked to the left circle. Cutler in the attack zone, wraps it around the wall. As Fitz skates towards the corner, Domowski trying to clear the zone. It hits off of McDonald, right point. He looks to center it, didn't get much on it. Now Hedrick crosses center ice, right wing. He'll drive it around the boards. Minor cuts it off behind the net. He'll throw it to the far side. It goes past Mayhew. Fitz gets blasted as Haskin in the left circle gets hit by Penner. Fitz gets it to Penner. Now to McDonald at the Utah goal line. He'll throw it across to Martin. He's in the near side. Now to Penner. Over to Cutler at center ice. He'll backhand it in. Shield behind his net cuts it off. Nick Canati behind Idaho's net, skating from left to right. Still skate towards the far side. He'll chip it out to center ice. It goes past Justin Ducharme. Fitz will bounce it off the Steelhead. as Ducharme will skate towards his right. He crosses center ice right wing, and he'll backhand it in. As though collides with Ducharme. Murphy, centering pass, saved by Minor. Well, good pass from Murphy out in front to A.J. White, who had a Grizzly hanging by, so he just fired a one-timer, and Minor was able to make the save.
This game, to me, Tyson, just feels very sloppy. It might have something to do with the ice conditions. I'm not entirely sure, but it seems like the puck, whenever it's bouncing around, it's just bouncing around like a ping pong ball. We've also seen guys lose their edges a few times in this game already. And so you got to wonder how much the ice is playing a factor in how this game is going to go.
It's a very warm and nice day outside here in the West Valley area. And imagine that some of that heat has creeped up into Maverik Center, and that's why the ice surface, you got to be assertive with your passes. If not, the puck's not going to go anywhere. Idaho wins the draw. They get to Heiskanen. Right side, like a righty shot. He gets redirected and goes wide as it glanced off the stick. As Franklin throws it up top for Kanadi. He'll take a left point shot, and it's blocked. Mayhew over in the far corner. Battles with Bice. He'll slide it to Tho. Now to Johnny Walker. He'll skate out to center ice. He crossed the red line. He dumps it in. As Ritchie and Heiskanen, both guys go down. Centering pass, Jamison. Shot. It's blocked by Franklin. Now Walker in the corner. As he'll throw it up top for Martin. Right point. Now across to Shearer. Shearer left side. Lefty shot. Saved by Shield. Heiskanen and Johnny Walker collide. Walker throws the net open. And both guys have a few words. Looked like Heiskanen and Walker kind of both had the hold me back type of look. A few words being exchanged, but neither guy's going to get a penalty. 2:29 left in the first. We're still tied at 1. Utah's outshot Idaho 12-8.
I think Keaton Jamison might have a goal there if Franklin doesn't block that shot. That Jamison's a guy to watch out for sure. Had an excellent breakaway goal in Game 4. Really has been a consistent player for the Grizzlies all season long and throughout the playoffs.
They put the net back in place, the one that Adam Shield's defending. Here late in the first period, it's kind of interesting to see the flow of the game, and I think because the ice surface is maybe a little bit warmer tonight, we might not necessarily see that flow. It might just be a lot of choppy action here.
Yeah, I think that's the key word, Tyson. It's just choppy. I was thinking the same word in my head. It's just a very sloppy game so far. Not from the play of both teams, just the way the puck is handling.
Draw one by the Grizzlies. Shearer left point. Fired around the wall as Sekos in the right corner gets it, and he'll throw it back around. Idaho behind the net, cuts it off as Heiskanen, who's been active in the first period, throws to Franklin, who battles with Shearer. Puck squirts towards the slot, and Kanadi gets it. He skates around Idaho's net. He's got outstanding speed. He gets around Sekos. Kanadi now at center ice. He gains the line in a blur. Skates towards the left circle. Lefty shot goes wide as Cutler gets blasted by Kanadi. He lifts it high into the air, and it hit the video board. And so the draw is going to come back in the Grizzly zone as Cutler lifted it out of the zone and it hit the video board with 1:58 left in the first.
Well, Nick Kanadi re-enters the lineup for the Steelheads. And really, to me, Kanadi is a guy that is really the Steelheads version of Kyle Mayhew, a bit of smaller defenseman at 5'9", 165 pounds. But he can move. He's got a lot of speed, and the Grizzlies just got a full whiff of it there. They got to be aware of what he is able to cook up with.
Idaho's missing a key defenseman in Matt Register, who was a plus 53 this season. Register is missing his third straight game. Draws in the near circle, and it's won by Utah's Bryson Martin. Throws it across to Cameron Wright. He'll lift it in the air. It's gloved by Casey Johnson and dropped at center ice. They'll throw it ahead as A.J. White enters. He'll veer off to the right. There's White now in the right circle. Backhand shot saved by Minor. Grizzlies get the rebound as Cameron Wright skates down the middle. He gets to center ice. He'll chip it off the near boards. He'll chase after it. Now the puck goes over towards Dawson Bardo. Now to Raby on the left side. Now to Kyle Betts left circle. Backhand shot saved by Shield. Rebound goes to Misiak. Still lift it in the air as puck bounced off the near boards. Neutralized. Martin will collide sticks with Niram. Now Niram at the Utah blue line dumps it in. As Niram will come off the ice. As looked like he lost a glove. And Utah will get it with Raby at neutralize. He'll lift it in the air. Puck bounces towards Shield. He covers up in the crease. And if you're going to dump the puck, that's the way to do it. Is make sure that Shield has to play it. And the Grizzlies will get an offensive zone draw out of it with 1:06 left in the first.
Well, the thing Tyson had noticed about Adam Shield in this game is he's really given up a few uncharacteristic rebounds. Those are perfect opportunities for the Grizzlies to score. So the Grizzlies can find a way to capitalize on those chances that he's giving them. Be well better off here in this game.
The two goals were scored 27 seconds apart in the first period. Nolan Ritchie exactly 3 minutes in with Jamison getting the assist, and Idaho tied it up 27 seconds later on the power play. Ducharme with his first of the series. Kawaguchi and Barta with the assist. Grizzlies win the draw. Though with a right wing shot that goes wide. As Keller lifts it out to center ice, Though gets it back. He'll fire it in. Airborne as the puck bounces towards Schill, who gets it on 2 hops of the ice, and he holds on. 54 seconds left in the first period. Utah's outshot Idaho 14-9.
Well, I think that's a sight that you'd like to see if you're a Grizzlies fan. Out shooting the Steelheads here in the first period. Grizzlies have really done a good job forechecking in this game and getting shots on goal. I think the next step for them is just to continue winning faceoffs, put more shots on net, and see if you can get us one to go through.
It'll be interesting to see what the off-ice officials say in terms of who won the faceoff battle, because it looks like Utah's got that edge here so far. Miller will take the draw against Sekos. He's out there with the Victoria Royals connection, Brandon Cutler, and Taron Fives are there with teammates in juniors for a couple of years. Up top is James Shearer and the dependable Luke Martin, who was an all-star this year at Jacksonville. Draw one by Idaho. Patrick Cutler gets tripped up, no call. Cutler throws it to Shearer, left point. Lefty shot gets redirected by Sekos. The stick and goes high. As Demowski over in the far corner, he'll chip it around. It's cut off by Hedrick. Now to Kudla, who slides it towards Keller at the Idaho blue line. He loses the puck as Shearer throws to Martin. And so get to Sekos at center ice down the middle. He'll slide it to his left for Cutler. He'll take a left wing shot, saved by Schill in the butterfly position. Goes back to Keller, who will tap it off the near glass. Gloved and dropped by Shearer in the left point. Now to Sekos. He battles with Keller. Keller loses his feet, but another Steelhead gets it and clears it out to center. 15 seconds left in the period. Miller drops it off for Demowski. He gets knocked down by Pfizer and gets held up. Taking the puck as Cutler will throw it across to Martin. As Luke Martin battles in the far corner with himself as he'll throw it towards Pfizer on the near side. Chipping out to center ice. Hedrick pokes it back to Bice, and that will do it for 20 minutes of play here at Maverik Center. As Nolan Ritchie scored 3 minutes in, and 27 seconds later, Ducharme evened it up for Idaho. The Grizzlies outshot the Steelheads 15-9 in the first period. In last night's game, Utah outshot Idaho 15-11 in the first period. Well, if the trend continues and the team that scores first wins, that would certainly benefit the Grizzlies. As Utah scored first tonight, although the trend has been that the road team gets the victory, the road club has won each of the first 4 games of this series. When we come back, Guy Krenz will quarterback first intermission coverage, as we got a good crowd here at Maverik Center, and we're tied at 1 on the Grizzlies Hockey Network.
When you pay with the Nitro card at Maverik, you always save 10 cents or more on fuel every gallon, every day. And you could save a whole lot more thanks to Nitro Best Price. Pick up a Nitro card and upgrade your Adventure Club account today.
I live for my next goal. Whether it's another pick six or another step forward in life, I wouldn't be who I am without the drive to reach it. And I wouldn't be where I am without my team. Everyone on and off the field who supports me and believes in my dreams as much as I do. Whatever your goals are, surround yourself with people who are going to help you reach toward them. Like my friends at America First, and see where life takes you.
Maverik's new bean-to-cup machines always deliver a freshly ground cup of coffee on demand, so you can enjoy any of our premium roasts at their best, day or night, hot or iced. Enjoy a fresh cup today.
If you're out driving and something happens to your car, truck, or even wheelchair, and you end up stuck at a rail crossing, it's going to be okay. Don't panic. Here's what you do. Get out if you can, and look for this blue sign on the metal pole. Call the number on the blue sign, and when they answer, tell them the crossing number. The number is right here. This tells them the exact location of the crossing. This is the fastest way to get trains stopped before coming through the crossing. Look for the blue. It helps you.
The Grizzlies won and the Steelheads won after 20 minutes of play. This is the Rio Tinto Kennecott first intermission report. I'm Guy Chiarenza alongside Tyson Whiting. We're having a great time here at the Maverik Center with Grizzlies fans in attendance, as they are hoping that they will get to see their team advance to round 2 so they can see some more live hockey in the 2022-23 season. Opening the scoring 3 minutes in, it was Nolan Ritchie off the faceoff. Keaton Jamison won it, got it to Ritchie. He blasted it by Adam Scheel. He gave the Grizzlies a 1-0 lead. That's his first of the playoffs. The Grizzlies would then take a penalty. Aaron Tho would get 2 minutes for slashing. 3:17 in. Idaho would go on the power play. They capitalized 10 seconds later as 3:27 into the first period, just 27 seconds after the Ritchie goal. Justin Ducharme, the other number 11 in white, gets his first of the postseason from Kawaguchi and Bardo. And that came on the power play. So the Steelheads are 1 for 1 on the man advantage in the first frame. Utah has yet to have a chance on the power play, as that Tho penalty was the only penalty in the first period. Shots are 15-9 in favor of the Grizzlies after 20 minutes of play. Trent Miner got the start net for the Grizzlies. He stopped 8 of 9. Adam Scheel started for the Steelheads. He has stopped 14 of 15. For the Grizzlies, a few skaters have 2 shots, leading the clubhouse for the team. Cutler has 2, as do Wright and Pfizer. So Tyson, for this game, it's just really been kind of a choppy affair. We're not really too sure about the ice conditions, but it seems like the puck has been on edge for the most part in the first period. But one thing you have to like on the Grizzlies side of things is they're out shooting the Steelheads, and they got that first goal, which you mentioned in the pregame, is super important, as whoever has scored first has won each of the 4 games in this series.
Yeah, it's certainly big to score first. I mean, Idaho obviously responded pretty quickly after that with a goal of their own. The Grizzlies do have the shot edge, which they did last night. Remember, last night the Grizzlies outshot the Steelheads 15-11 in the first period. Tonight it's a 15-9 edge. It just feels like these teams have played each other so much that both teams aren't surprising anybody. And it seems like both teams' defensive units are on point, and part of the reason why they are on point is they know exactly what the opposition is going to do. Nobody's surprising anybody. And so I think that you talk about the wrinkles in the lineup. Nick Canati was one of the more impressive players for the Steelheads. He hasn't played all series. And for Utah, I thought Bryce Martin played a good first period. It's the first time he's played all series. And so I think that some of the wrinkles, Everett Sheen and Ryan Kanasevich are going to have to go deep in the playbook to try to figure out what the other team hasn't seen all year, which means it's probably going to come down to goaltending. And it's going to come down to who gets that crazy bounce. In the first 2 games, the Grizzlies got those bounces. Remember the Betts goal early in the third period in game 1 that hit off the glass and hit the top of the net and then bounced in, something like that. Idaho on a couple redirections last night. They were able to get some bounces in game 3 and game 4. First 2 games it was the Grizzlies that had those bounces. So it feels like that could end up making the big difference in the game. Who gets those crazy bounces, who ends up getting the puck luck to go their way, that might end up deciding who wins this game. One other thing to know, both teams have been pretty disciplined here so far. You see the only penalty was Aaron Tho, and I thought it was interesting. I think Franklin kind of loosened up the grip on the stick to make sure that it would fly. He kind of sold he got the call, but it looked like he kind of sold the call by losing his stick out there in the corner. And, Tho just kind of looked around going, I sort of slashed him, but at the same time, there wasn't too much there. But with the stick leaving Franklin's hand, it was easier for the official to make the call there. I think both teams want to play a disciplined game because I think both teams want to stay out of the penalty box as much as they can here tonight.
Well, yeah, you mentioned both teams had 2 goals on the power play in game 4, so that certainly was the memo from the coaching staff to say, stay out of the penalty box. Let's play a clean game and win this thing 5-on-5. It might have just been a veteran move by Franklin there to draw that penalty, but you talk about shuffling the playbook, and both teams' coaches really having to do a good job of really just reaching deep and finding those minor changes to be made in this series, because that could be the determining factor of who wins. You mentioned Grizzlies and the Steelheads played 18 times the regular season. This is now game 5, so it's the 23rd meeting between these teams in the 22-23 campaign.
And 2 more in the preseason.
So, there's a lot of hockey between the Grizzlies and the Steelheads this season. And we still have a game 6 that's guaranteed over in Boise. But, you look at the Rooster, Jordan Martell, being a healthy scratch going into this game. And I don't think that's a knock on the play of Martell. I think he's a fantastic player, but I think that's just Kanasevich saying, hey, we lost the 2 games. You've seen this team so many times throughout the course of the season. We have to change something up. We have to get a breath of fresh air. So he puts Johnny Walker back in the lineup, takes out Corey Thomas, who may be dealing with an injury, puts in Bryson Martin. And really, that's just what you got to do. That's what good coaches do, is they just find a way to adapt and kind of just shuffle their lines around. And I think in the case of Martell, this Grizzlies team is just so deep. Yeah. He ends up being the odd man out when Kanasowicz makes that decision.
I think it was interesting, with Johnny Walker, he does have some scoring punch, and he delivered some hits in the first period. He was a very active player in the first frame, and that's really what you get when Johnny Walker is at his best, and I could watch out for him in the next 2 periods. It wouldn't surprise me if he ends up making a big impact here in the next 40 minutes. You think about the second periods. I mean, in game 4, Idaho had a big edge. They had a big edge in the shot count. They also had a big edge in terms of scoring 2 second-period goals to the Grizzlies, none. We mentioned the face-off battle. Grizzlies won that 13-7 in the first period, which I don't think is too much of a surprise. It just seemed like eyeball tests. The Grizzlies were winning a lot more of those battles. Yeah. Giveaways, Utah had 8 and Idaho had 4. Idaho had 5 scoring chances. Utah had 4, which is interesting considering Utah had a shot advantage there in the first period. But it looked like Idaho, it seems like at times they play ultra aggressive offensively, and you see them take 15-plus shots in a period. It was interesting in the first frame to see them play a very patient approach, almost like they were trying to read the Grizzlies' defense and kind of see if there's anything different from what they'd seen previously in this series. And it wouldn't surprise me if in the second period Idaho plays a little bit more up-tempo than they did in the first period, which is what we saw in last night's game.
I agree. And for the Grizzlies, you need to find a way to match that energy that Idaho brings and then some, because we saw the Grizzlies have a great first period in game 4 and kind of just fall flat in the second period and let the Steelheads creep back into this game. The Grizzlies got to play a full 60 minutes and maybe then some if this goes to overtime here in this game, if they want a chance to win. But I think you mentioned the face-off battle, 13-7 in favor of the Grizzlies. I think that's the key right there. Yeah. In a game where the ice conditions may be a little sloppy, the puck may be bouncing on edge, if you can get possession, especially on those offensive zone draws, you get possession, maybe just another bang-bang play. That's how we saw Richie score, and that's kind of how we saw the Steelheads score on their goal, where they kind of just had a bit more rotation coming back out to the blue line and then going back down to the near circle to get that goal. So they went in over to Ducharme and just whipped it by. It's just going to be those face-offs. You're not really going to be able to utilize those stretch passes, although we saw Idaho connect on those a few times in the first period. I don't think that's going to happen as much in the second period. I think the Grizzlies will adapt. So I think whoever wins that face-off battle is going to win the game.
I saw a lot of east-west passes in the first period, and I think it's kind of almost like we think about Idaho on their power play. You overload one side and they get it across to an open shooter either on the left, or overload the right side and they get an open shooter over on the left, on the other side. Almost seems like Domowski, and you talk about Domowski and the impact he had. He missed one of the games in this series. I think it was game 3. He was probably as active in the first period as we've seen all series. Domowski, 30 goals in the regular season. He's really stepped up his game here through 20 minutes. And you got to think about him on the right side. I mean, really, it's been Kawaguchi on the left. Watch out for him. He's a dangerous scorer as well. And it's kind of a stalemate, and really it's a chess match. I think both teams are at move 995 of trying to kind of work that back and forth game. And who really knows what's going to happen? Obviously, as you had mentioned, 18 regular season games. This is the 5th playoff game, and both teams saw each other twice in the preseason. This is the 25th meeting between the clubs this season. I think we know the Steelheads about as well as we know the Grizzlies at this point. The winner of this series, this is essentially a 2 out of 3 now, with the series tied 2 games apiece in the best-of-7 set. Game 6 will be necessary on Monday night, as both teams will get on a bus and head to Boise. Monday is going to happen for sure, and if both teams win one of the next 2 games, then Game 7 will be necessary on Tuesday night. That's going to be an interesting one. Face-off both nights in Boise will be at 7:10. Pre-game coverage, as Guy and I will be hanging out at the lobby at Maverik Center for Game 6, and if necessary, Game 7 will be 6:50 pregame show, 7:10 face-off. We'll be at the lobby at Maverik Center trying to describe all the action as we can on the remote broadcast. The winner of this series will face the winner of Allen and Kansas City. Like the Grizzlies and Steelheads, they're playing Game 5 of a best-of-7 series, tied 2 games apiece. And when we come back to the Rio Tinto Kennecott intermission report, we will review that game, talk about who's winning as it's in progress right now, and some of the other scores from around the league. I will give you some NHL scores as well and start second period action as we're tied at 1 on the Grizzlies Hockey Network.
When you pay with the Nitro card at Maverik, you always save 10 cents or more on fuel every gallon, every day. And you could save a whole lot more thanks to Nitro Best Price. Pick up a Nitro card and upgrade your Adventure Club account today.
I live for my next goal. Whether it's another pick six or another step forward in life, I wouldn't be who I am without the drive to reach it. And I wouldn't be where I am without my team. Everyone on and off the field who supports me and believes in my dreams as much as I do. Whatever your goals are, surround yourself with people who are going to help you reach toward them. Like my friends at America First, and see where life takes you.
Maverik's new bean-to-cup machines always deliver a freshly ground cup of coffee on demand, so you can enjoy any of our premium roasts at their best, day or night, hot or iced. Enjoy a fresh cup today.
If you're out driving and something happens to your car, truck, or even wheelchair, and you end up stuck at a rail crossing, it's going to be okay. Don't panic. Here's what you do. Get out if you can, and look for this blue sign on the metal pole. Call the number on the blue sign, and when they answer, tell them the crossing number. The number is right here. This tells them the exact location of the crossing. This is the fastest way to get trains stopped before coming through the crossing. Look for the blue. It helps you.
Welcome back to Maverik Center. I'm Tyson Whiting here with Guy Chiarenza. Second period action will begin shortly. The winner of this series will face the winner of Allen and Kansas City, the other Mountain Division semifinal. Kansas City scored the first goal of the night as Tristan Mullen scored 6:41 into the contest, with Jake Jeremko getting the assist. And then Allen responded with 4 straight as the Americans lead 4-1. That game just underway in the third period. Chris Mallory scored 18:37 into the first. He played the first half of the 2020-21 season with Utah, where he was a teammate with current Steelheads captain A.J. White. Both guys former Grizzlies who played 2 years ago. Eric Williams, the former Grizzly defenseman who was with the club in the 2019-2020 season, scored halfway through the second period for Allen. And the Americans added goals from Colton Hargrove and Liam Finley as they lead 4-1. Kevin Maladosi has stopped 20 of 21 for Allen. Kansas City's Shane Sterrett has saved 21 of 25. Game 5 of the best of 7 series, tied 2 games apiece, and Allen leads Game 5 4-1. 3 games have gone final. In the South Division, Jacksonville defeats Greenville 5-4. As Jacksonville takes a lead in that series, as the Icemen and Swamp Rabbits do battle. We'll figure out who's winning that series. Florida defeated South Carolina 4-0. That is Game 5 of that series. Florida leads that series 3-2. And in the North Division, Reading over Maine 6-2. Well, I want to figure out exactly if the standings had updated itself to figure out with the Jacksonville winning where the series sits right now in the South Division, but it is what it is.
I think check on the Jacksonville Icemen. I'm surprised about the South Carolina Stingrays, though, down 2-3 against the defending Kelly Cup champions. I really thought that the Stingrays could go far, but looks like they're going to have to force a Game 7 if they want to do it.
Both teams are on the ice here. We'll have second period action here shortly, as Utah and Idaho are tied at 1. Grizz outshot the Steelheads 15-9 in the first period. In the NHL, how about this? Game 6 of the East Division semifinals. Tampa Bay and Toronto are tied at 1. A Toronto victory means that they escape the first round for the first time in quite a while. They're 5 minutes into overtime, still tied at 1. Early third period, Rangers lead the Devils 3-1. Devils lead that series 3-2. And at 8 o'clock, so starting out in a few minutes, it's Game 6 of the West Division semis. as Edmonton leads 3-2. They'll take on the LA Kings for Game 6 in Los Angeles. It's interesting to see the Oilers and Kings, the best NHL trade ever. The Wayne Gretzky from Edmonton to Los Angeles still. And every time I see the Oilers and Kings, I kind of think about that trade from the late 1980s. It really brought a lot of popularity to the western part of the United States.
Big trade for a lot of reasons, Tyson. And if you've been watching that series, that's some great hockey. That's been a lot of fun. I think that one could go 7 games. I guess only time will tell. I think a lot of Maple Leaf fans are holding their breath right now, hoping that their team can advance to the second round. It's playoff hockey, man. It's always fun.
It'll be interesting to see who breaks this deadlock in the second period. As we mentioned, it's been a chess match, and I think both teams are kind of out of options right now. As we noted, it was a big difference between the Steelheads in the first period and second period last night. They were a lot more aggressive in the second period. It wouldn't surprise me if they come out that same way here to start the second. What do the Grizzlies need to do to counter that?
Well, I think for the Grizzlies, their shortcomings in game 3 and 4 were the fact that one period, whether it was the second period or the third period, was just a dead period for them. They came out flat, and that can be attributed to losses in games 3 and 4. They have to find a way to come out here and match the energy that the Steelheads bring. And you know what? Why don't you just create that energy on your own? Go throw a hit or something. Go do something big and get things going your way.
Puck is dropped to start the second period. Idaho wins the draw. They spin it along the wall. Idaho skating from right to left in the second period as Kawaguchi throws it towards Wade Murphy. It's cut off by Kyle Mayhew. Mayhew's out there with Tho. The same 5 that started the game as right point. Righty shot goes wide, taken by Dawson Bardo. Towards the near boards, Mayhew collides with Murphy. Behind Utah's net, Jamison skates towards the far side. He gets cut off as he's double-teamed. Idaho, Kawaguchi will bounce it off of Mayhew. Kawaguchi gets it back. He'll fling it to the left point for Johnson. He'll fake a shot. Now Johnson will skate towards the corner. He stops and skates back towards the point. He'll slide across to Bardo. Now to Johnson. High slot, lefty shots blocked by Johnny Walker. Puck goes to Penner. He'll tap it off the far boards. Murphy keeps it in. He'll throw it to the corner. Now White behind the net. Gets pushed by Jamison. And Mayhew takes it away from Kawaguchi as he'll skate towards the near side with speed. They'll move it out to center ice. Johnson bats it back towards Mayhew, and it goes past him. As though behind Utah's net, we'll throw it back to Mayhew's in the near corner. Grizz skating from left to right here in the second period as Raby battles with Misiak. He gets held up. Puck ahead towards Cameron Wright, right wing. He'll dump it in as Shield plays behind his net. He'll throw it to Kudla. Now right wing, Wright gets it. Righty shot hits the side of the net. Betts behind the net towards the left side. Gets to Cameron Wright in the corner. He'll slice it up top for Shearer, left point. Shot goes wide as it bounces off the Maverik side. As Misiak clears it out to center. It's taken by Zane Franklin, who steps over the red line, and he backhands it in. Miner behind his net throws to Shearer. 1.5 minutes into the second period. Still no score. Neither team's taking a shot here so far in the second. As Miner gets held up, we get a whistle. We get a penalty, and it's going to be on Martin. 2 minutes for tripping as Luke Martin was in a one-on-one battle with, I believe, Justin Misiak. Luke Martin can't believe it, but he's going to the Rogers and Russell Legal Solutions holding cell. 2 minutes for tripping, 18-16 left in the second.
Well, that's a tough play for Luke Martin. Not very happy about that one, but the Grizzlies will go on the penalty kill for the second time in this game. Remember, they allowed Idaho's only goal on the penalty kill in the first period. Idaho cashing in on the power play, so Grizzlies have to be sharp here. Watch out for Justin Ducharme again.
Draws in the left circle. Idaho with a power play goal tonight. Shot saved by Miner as Grizzlies clear it out. Shield to the side of his net will give it to Dawson Bardo. As Martin's in the box, 2 minutes for tripping. Time and penalty, 1:44 in. Over to center ice, Ducharme. Cross the center ice, left wing. He steps in. He stops in the left point. He'll roll to White in the corner. Near side, now up top for Ducharme. He's got Idaho's goal tonight. Over to White, who had 2 last night. White behind Utah's net. Over to Kawaguchi on the left side. Now to Ducharme, he fakes a shot. Now he takes a wrist shot. Saved by Miner. Rebound goes towards the near side goal line. Taken by Tho, who will backhand it out to the point. It goes past Kawaguchi and exits the zone. Schill outlets it to center ice. It's taken by Ducharme. He crosses center ice. Ducharme will skate towards the left circle. Now he's in the corner. He'll wrap it around the boards. Right side, Kawaguchi gets it. He'll tap it to Ducharme. He's now in the right circle. Over to Kawaguchi. Over to Ducharme. And so skate towards the right circle. Now towards the far goal line. White gets it. Backhand shot. Saved by Miner. He holds on. 17-17 left in the second. And halfway through Idaho's first power play of the second frame.
A much better penalty kill for the Grizzlies this time around. I think the guy watch out for, and I think the best steelhead in the first period was A.J. White. There he was again camping out in front of the blue paint. Has a good chance, but Miner shuts it down. But Grizzlies need to be aware of what A.J. White can do, find a way to neutralize him.
Weiss and Zach Sekos to take the draw. Weiss redirected the Owen Hedrick shot. 3:27 into overtime last night to give Idaho a 6-5 victory. We're tied to 1 now. Early second period. Idaho wins the draw. Cudlow over to Hedrick. Left point. Hedrick feeds it to the near corner. Nierum back to Hedrick. Now to Cudlow. As he's in the high slot over to Hedrick, who fakes a one-timer. He gathers the puck. Now Cudlow in the high slot. He slides it to the right side for Weiss. Now towards Domowski. Will take a lefty shot. Saved by Miner. He holds on. 43 seconds left in the Idaho power play. We're 3 minutes and 1 second into the second frame.
It seems like the Steelers are trying to draw the Grizzlies out of position by moving the puck around the perimeter. And then they're going to whip a shot on goal and try and hope for a rebound or a tip-in out in front as they all crash the nets. Grizzlies doing a good job of shutting things down. We still have some time to go on the penalty kill.
Idaho keeps the same 5-man unit out there. Grizzlies made a line change. Kyle Betts will take the draw. Weiss wins the draw, right side. Cudlow, lefty shot. It's blocked by Betts. Cudlow neutralized, loses it. Kyle Betts skates along the far side. He gets the left circle. He tried to center to bounce off of Hedrick. Betts in the far corner still with it. He gets double teamed. And Idaho comes out with the puck as Cudlow over to Hedrick. Back to Cudlow as he skates down the middle. 20 seconds left in the power play. Head towards Nierum. It gets poked away by Wright, who gets the puck, and he'll slide it all the way out towards Adam Schill, and he'll get to Cudlow. 10 seconds left in the power play. Cudlow with a left wing pass to Weiss. It goes past him. It got redirected. No icing. Grizzlies wanted icing as McDonald will tap it off the far glass as Martin's out of the box. It's a Utah disaster cleanup. Successful penalty kill. Idaho, far goal line. Sharp angled shot hits the side of the net. Right side. Hedrick will throw it back to Domowski. He's in the right point. He's been active tonight. Now Weiss in the right corner. Slides it across to Johnson. Sorry pass. Shot saved by Miner. Now Idaho throws it across. Bouncing puck goes to center ice. Hedrick skates back deep in his own zone. As we're skating 5-on-5. Idaho's 1 for 2 on the power play tonight. Utah's yet to go on the man advantage as Hedrick skates down the middle. He's still in his own zone. The slide a left wing pass to Johnson, who gets to the Utah blue line. He gets hit by Pfizer and gets divorced from the puck. Though behind the Grizzlies' net, gets tripped up by Keller. No call, surprisingly. Nankua ahead towards Ritchie. Now to Pfizer, who lifts it high into the air. Pitch chasing after it. He gets along the end wall as he battles with Bardo. As Fitz towards the left side, skates towards a point. Trying to fire it towards the net. It glanced off the skate of Bardo. And flips to the corner on the far side. Jamison, 2-on-2 battle. Idaho wins as they spin it to Misiak in the near side. He's in the corner. He gets blasted by Fitz. Misiak lost both his gloves. Looks like he's hurt. Misiak will skate towards the bench as he's shaken up. As though it neutralized. Dumps it in slowly. Misiak's going to walk towards the locker room and get looked at. As the Steelheads will carry it out to neutralize. Johnson with a right wing pass to Jade Miller. He enters his zone. Keller drives it around the wall. Kawaguchi and Miller battle. Kawaguchi throws to Franklin, right side. Shot slides in front of Miner, and it's blocked by Jamison. Now Tho on the far side gets it. 5.5 minutes into the second period. Cross ice pass to Jamison. It connects right side. Jamison steps over the center ice line, and he'll throw it to the left corner. Taken back by Idaho as Cody Haskinen will carry it across center ice. He'll dump it towards the far side as Franklin couldn't reach it. Shearer across to Martin. Now to Johnny Walker at the near side. He crosses center. Over to Kyle Betts, who skates down the middle. He's trying to split a triple team. And it's taken away by Haskinen. Now Kanadi far side, deep in the Steelhead zone. As Idaho skating from right to left. He'll move it out to center ice for Kawaguchi. Right wing, he'll skate in. And we get a whistle as Zane Franklin hit Johnny Walker. It should be interference. And Zane Franklin's going to get a penalty as he collided with Johnny Walker just outside the Utah blue line at neutral ice. 14:01 left in the second, and the Grizzlies, for the first time tonight, are going on the power play.
Special teams might be the theme of the second period here, Tyson. Grizzlies already doing a great job on the penalty kill to start the second. Now they'll have a chance on the man advantage. An excellent chance to take a 2-1 lead.
Justin Misiak will check on his availability if he comes back in, as he got hit by Dylan Fitz pretty hard in the corner. He actually came off the ice and didn't have either of his gloves or a stick. Looked like he got injured pretty good. kind of a middle body injury maybe. And we'll see if he re-enters the lineup.
Well, Dylan Fitz was an absolute animal on that last shift. Just bursts in to win that race, to beat out the icing, and throws around a few hits. Misiak was the recipient of a few of those. And hopefully he'll be able to return for the Steelheads.
Zane Franklin gets 2 minutes for interference, draws in the right circle. That's won by the Grizzlies. Sekos up top for Cutler. He skates towards the left circle. He fires to the far goal line. As Jamison back to Cutler. He's now at the left point. And as Cutler dances around over to Jamison, far goal line, tries to chip a centering pass out in front. Sekos gets tripped up, no call. As Mayhew over to Cutler on the left side. He'll take a lefty shot. Pad saved by Shield. Puck stays in play, far corner. As Cutler and Jamison battle with 2 Steelheads. Johnson with a push of Sekos. Johnson trying to kick it out, and it bounced off the skate of Cutler. Keller trying to clear it out. Mayhew keeps it in. Great job by Kyle Mayhew. He's going to be an outstanding pro. Pfizer over to Jamison. It bounces over his stick and rolls towards Cutler. Now left point. Sekos fires it around the wall. Jamison couldn't reach it. Pfizer on the right side. Will bounce it off of Bice, who gets the puck. And he'll throw it out to center ice. It's cut off by Mayhew at the Utah blue line. Now Mayhew crosses center ice left wing. Got good speed. He'll skate towards the circle. Take a lefty shot. It's blocked by Bardo. Now Mayhew around the net. Tosses it up top for Pfizer. Across to Cutler, who chips it towards the middle for Sekos. He couldn't reach it. Idaho gets it, and they clear it out. Both teams will make a line change. Less than 50 seconds left in Utah's first power play of the game. We're still tied at 1. Neither team has scored here so far in the second period. As Luke Martin neutralized, will drop it off for Wright. He'll cross center ice right wing. He'll chip it to Walker, who couldn't reach it. Wright tried to get it back. Cutler gathers it. He clears it out. Looks like the ice surface playing a little bit more tricks here tonight than it did yesterday. Very warm day in the Salt Lake Valley as Luke Martin skates down the middle. And so drop it off for Wright. Across to Betts, who crosses center ice. He'll veer off to the left and get it to Ritchie, who's got Utah's lone goal tonight. Now Martin in the left point. He'll take a righty shot and goes wide. Walker gets it off the boards in the right point. Now to Luke Martin. He's in the right point. He'll throw it across. Ritchie couldn't reach it. Cutler gathers it. He'll throw it to the left right point. Martin keeps it in. They'll throw it to Ritchie. Now across. It's picked off by A.J. White. Idaho's back at full strength. Franklin gets it out of the box. He'll skate towards the left circle. Take a righty shot and it goes wide. Boy, he didn't miss by much. Haskin in the far corner over to Franklin. He gets pushed by Martin. Franklin with the puck will toss it up top for Cutler. He couldn't keep the puck in the zone. That's what we're talking about with the ice surface. Cutler would normally keep that in with ease. As Miller goes down. Now Cutler will bounce it off of Miller. Boy, this is really odd. These are the same teams we saw last night. Kawaguchi crosses center ice. He'll dump it into the right corner. Fitz chases after it. He gets the puck. He collides with Kawaguchi. Big time hit delivered by Fitz. As left point, Johnson will fire it off the end boards on the Penske sign. Idaho looks to center it. Picked off by Raby. Now Nolan Ritchie crosses center ice. He'll dump it in lightly. Raby chases after it. He gets around Johnson. Raby avoids a check of Johnson. Idaho clears it out. Though chasing after it, no icing. As Miller will come off the ice for Idaho. Though gets the puck in the Grizzlies zone. He'll slide it out to center ice. Raby couldn't reach it. And now icing is called on Utah with 10:58 left in the second. It's been kind of odd here so far. Like the action just hasn't been flowing nearly as smoothly tonight.
No, but I think the Grizzlies had a lot of good ideas going on the power play, but the one problem was that the Steelheads knew exactly where the puck was going to go. But utilize that umbrella scheme on the power play. It's up to that defenseman at the blue line to make those passes and get the defense out of position. But you look at where the Grizzlies' eyes were, the positioning, Steelheads knew exactly where that puck was going to go. Grizzlies need to spice it up.
Idaho wins the draw. Cutler across to Hedrick. Right point now to Domowski. He'll take a lefty shot and he goes wide as he took it from the slot. Now up top for Cutler. He had a tough time keeping it in, but he did. Ducharme in the left corner will switch places with Cutler. He drops it off for Cutler. He fires it across. Now shot to score. Cutler to Domowski to the back of the net. And I had a feeling Ryan Domowski, with the way he's looked tonight, that he would find the back of the net before this one's over. And he does with 10:41 left in the second as Idaho's taking a 2-1 lead.
Well, the mouse is in the house, Tyson, and you knew he wouldn't stay quiet for long.
It was a really good play as Cutler was in the left point, switches places with Ducharme. Then Cutler just fed it across to Domowski, and before Miner was able to come back the other way, Domowski had put it in the back of the net.
And just a really good play by the Idaho Steelheads. And good pass from Cutler across to Domowski.
Did that go 5-hole on Miner? Looked like it might have snuck through the 5-hole. Domowski with the goal, Cutla, and Ducharme with the assist. Ducharme now has 1 goal and 1 assist tonight. Idaho leads 2-1, time of goal, 9:19 into the second. Steelheads dumping in after winning the face-off. Miner behind the net. Will chip it towards the far side as Cutler gets hit by Colton Keller. Sure in the area as Zach Sekos goes down on a big hit by Willie Nierum. Grizzlies get it. Cutler crosses center ice left wing. He dumps it in. He chases after it. Cutler collides with Cudla. Pfizer feeds it up top for Ritchie, or make that Shearer. Over to Martin. Right point. Shot. Saved by Shield. Rebound goes to the near corner. As Pfizer over towards Cutler on the right side. He'll skate towards the circle. Lefty shot. Saved by Shield. And he holds on with 10:04 left in the second. After the whistle, Zach Sekos and Willie Nierum in the exchange some pushes. The linesmen step in between. As Nierum having some words with Sekos, who was just trying to find a rebound out in front. 10:04 left in the second. Ryan Domowski scores 9:19 into the middle frame. This is Steelheads lead 2-1 on the Grizzlies Hockey Network.
Maverik's new bean-to-cup machines always deliver a freshly ground cup of coffee on demand, so you can enjoy any of our premium roasts at their best, day or night, hot or iced. Enjoy a fresh cup today.
.04 left in these second periods. We're about halfway through these scheduled 60 minutes. Nolan Ritchie gave Utah a 1-0 lead. He scored exactly 3 minutes into the first period, with Keaton Jamison getting the assist. 3:27 into the first, so 27 seconds after Ritchie scored. Justin Ducharme with a power play goal for Idaho as he scored from the right circle. Kawaguchi and Bardo with the assist. 9:19 into the second period. Domowski scored his first of the series. He had 30 regular season goals. The assist went to Patrick Kubla, and Justin Ducharme now has 1 goal and 1 assist tonight. Guy, what have we seen so far?
Well, Tyson, it was really sloppy first period. Seems that both teams have had a crack at it on the special teams, on the power play here in the second period. Difference is that Idaho converted on their power play chance in the first period. Grizzlies have yet to score a power play goal, though Idaho has had 2 chances. They're 1 for 2. Utah is 0 for 1, but look for special teams to be a big factor here in the second.
Draw in the Steelhead zone. Utah skating from left to right here in the second period. As Utah initially won the draw, now it goes behind James Shearer deep in the Grizzlies zone. Kawaguchi chases after it. He'll throw it across. Utah picks it off. Puck slides along the far boards. Idaho keeps it in as Kawaguchi behind Utah's net. Couldn't corral the wobbling puck. Now he gets it. So puck's playing tricks tonight. Kanadi across to Heiskanen, who's been active tonight. Look for a backhand shot from the right circle. It's blocked by Pfizer. Now right wing. Shot goes wide. It kicks off a minor and goes out of play. 9:33 left in the second. Draw's going to stay in the Grizzlies zone. What does the shot count look like in the second period? Grizzlies have taken 3, and Idaho's taken 7. 7-3 edge for Idaho here in the second frame.
Well, and both teams have had 1 chance on the power play here in the second. So you can't really point the finger at that for the Grizzlies' lack of shots. Really, the Grizzlies just need to find a way to do what they did in the first period and go down, establish themselves in the offensive zone, and just start taking shots.
Draws in the far circle. White will take it against Utah's Kyle Betts. As faceoff kind of stays in the circle for a couple seconds. Both teams jostling for it. As White continues to battle with Betts. Now the puck goes to Raby. Now Cameron Wright out to neutral ice. He'll bounce it off of Heiskanen. Puck crosses center ice. Franklin gets it back for Idaho. As the Steelheads peel back into their own zone. Heiskanen over to White, who gets blasted by Kyle Mayhew. White almost ended up in his own bench. As Though clears it out to center for Raby. Now to Betts, who crosses center ice. Play starting to get physical. Betts skates down the middle. Lefty shot goes wide. As Wright skates towards the near corner, gets held up by Heiskanen. Raby trying to chip it towards Betts. It's cut off by White. Now Domowski gets it. Who's got the deciding goal here. Wright over to Raby. Right side in the Steelhead zone. Sets a screen as Wright skates around Raby. He'll lose the puck in the near corner as Kanadi spins it along the wall. Franklin gets hit by Mayhew. The puck ends up out of play as Franklin and Mayhew push each other. It just feels like both teams know each other so well. That's really tough to execute anything offensively because we noticed that, like A.J. White cutting off a centering pass. It just seems like everybody knows where everybody's going to be on both sides.
Yeah, it seems like we're watching a defensive chess match again, just like we saw throughout the first 3 games of this series. Really, the outlier was last night's Game 4, which was just an offensive explosion. But you combine that, the familiarity aspect, with the fact that the ice probably isn't all that great today. You got yourself a really sloppy game, which it's going to be who makes that mistake. If you want to make a mistake, it's probably going to end up in the back of your net.
Which means you just got to play aggressive, play north-south, and just take it to the opponent. Draw's going to be at neutral ice near the Grizzlies bench. Miller and Jamison. They've battled a lot here tonight. Draw goes to Idaho. Casey Johnson's been active tonight as they've had to pick up the slack for missing Matt Register, who's out for the 3rd straight game. As Bardo over to Miller, right wing pass, skips over the stick of Keller. Bryson Martin falls down on his own, puck in the far corner, and it goes to Utah. Jamison around his own net. He'll tap it off the near glass. It's cut off by Johnson, the left point. He'll slide it to Miller. He gets hit by Jamison. Puck goes between the legs of Keller as McDonald throws it across. It's gathered by Ritchie, who skates along the far side. He gets hit by Keller at center ice and loses the puck as Idaho will ice it. Grizzlies chase after it. And the linesman enthusiastically raises his right arm. And icing is on the Steelheads with 8:04 left in the second.
Well, I think what you just said there at the last whistle, Tyson, about being aggressive is exactly how the Grizzlies should play. If you're going to sit back and play timid and just worry about not making that mistake, likely you are going to make that mistake, and the aggressive team is going to capitalize on that. So for the Grizzlies, you have to be that aggressive team, force the Steelheads to make that mistake, so you're the one capitalizing on it and putting goals in the back of the net.
And that's usually when the Grizzlies are at their best, when they're just playing a north-south ultra-aggressive type of game, just taking it to the opponent. Sekos take the draw against Jade Miller. Draw won by Idaho. They've had a good edge here in the second period. It's Johnson over towards Ducharme. He gets hit by Pfizer. Puck goes to center ice. Sure has a bounce over his stick. He'll slide it across to Martin. Will glide it ahead as Cutler has a glance off his stick as it flies in the Steelhead zone. Sekos with the big hit on Johnson. Sekos has been physical here tonight. Ducharme with 2 points this evening over to Miller, who clears it out. And once again, it's going to be icing on the Steelheads with 7:40 left in the second. And it's kind of odd. These are the same teams we saw last night with a 6-5 thriller. That was the final score. Tonight, it's a very different type of game.
It's quite strange, isn't it? It's like a night and day difference. But to me, I think these two teams are just sick of playing each other.
Yeah.
When you think about how many times these teams have met in the regular season, the preseason, and the postseason, I mean, it's a lot. And so I believe both teams are ready to move on, but still at least one more game to go in this series. Maybe a potential Game 7, so we're not done yet.
Drop on the far sides, won by Idaho as Bardo will move it out to near him. That pass is incomplete. And guess what, folks? We got another icing with 7:33 left in the second. Game 6 will be on Monday night. Both teams will spend tomorrow. Idaho might head home after tonight's game. Grizzlies will head to Boise tomorrow. Game 6 will be on Monday night. And if necessary, Game 7 will be on Tuesday. Sekos against Miller once again in the face-off circle on the far side. We talk about the addition of Zach Sekos. Mm-hmm. He missed quite a bit of action this season, but when he was healthy, he was about as good an all-around player as Utah had. Draw won by the Grizzlies as Martin throws to the corner. Cutler chases after it. Bardo battles with Sekos behind the net. Cutler gets hit awkwardly. No call on the play as Idaho comes up with a puck. Ducharme skates to center ice, left wing. He crossed the red line, taps off a shirt, and it goes out of play as a fan in row 2 of section 112 comes away with a souvenir.
Boy, I really thought that should have been a penalty there. Cutler gets slammed dangerously into the boards.
Yeah, I thought so too. That's kind of, normally you'd see boarding called on there. And
I mean, that was textbook boarding to me, but what do I know?
Tries to get center ice. Betts will take it against Ty Pelton Bice. 7:18 left in the second, and now we've got a ton of whistles here. Just there's no flow to this one here.
No.
Idaho leads 2-1 as the Steelheads win the draw. Cutler moves ahead to Domowski, and we got icing. We get another whistle.
Well, I think the thing about these icing calls is that it's basically a free draw in the offensive zone, and so if you're the Grizzlies, you got to win these faceoffs.
Yeah.
I mean, especially we talked about it in the first period. It's just, okay, the ice is sloppy. It's a chess match. This right here is a free chance to just win the faceoff and rip one on goal. We saw the Grizzlies get a goal off of that in the first period. So these are draws that you need to win.
Betts will take the draw against Ty Pelton by 7:12 left in the second period. Good opportunity for the Grant fans to go to the team store here. Second period. Grizzlies win the draw as Wright has it slide off his stick, and it goes to Aaron Tho. Has to chase after it in the Grizzlies' end. As Utah moves ahead, Mayhew gets blasted by Niram, and Tho will skate over to confront Niram. We get a whistle in the near corner as Niram and Tho grab each other's jersey. As looks like Willie Niram's going to the box. He might be the only one going. As Niram hit Mayhew. Mayhew didn't go flying the way Pfizer did last night, but this one's going to be called. Willie Niram's going to get 2 minutes, and the Grizzlies are going on the power play for the second time here in the second period.
I think it's kind of funny because Niram was pointing at Mayhew saying, hey, wait a minute, what about him? How come he's not going? But no, it's only Willie Niram going into the penalty box, and so now the Grizzlies will get their second chance on the power play in this game. I think they got to make something out of it here.
Niram gets 2 minutes for boarding. Time of penalty, 13:01 into the second period. 6:59 is left in the second. Grizzlies are on the power play. Looks like Johnny Walker's out there with Betts and Wright. Up top is Luke Martin and Nolan Ritchie.
Tyson, to me on this power play, the X factor is going to be Luke Martin. He's got to find a way to spice things up. I'm thinking about no-look passes, really kind of shifting the Steelheads the other way, maybe with his positioning, just kind of flipping the puck the other way. You got to catch this defense off guard.
Watch out for either Betts or Walker in front of the net. Draw one by the Steelheads. Casey Johnson on one knee clears it out. Boy, Johnson's been outstanding for Idaho tonight, and as we mentioned, they've got to pick up the slack without Matt Register. As Grizzlies skate from left to right, Luke Martin will skate towards the Idaho bench. He gets to neutralize, so drop it off for Wright. They'll feed a left wing pass to Betts, who skates in from the left side. He'll skate towards the left circle. Betts stops in the corner on a dime. He'll throw it up top to Wright in the left point. Now to Martin, back to Wright. As Wright slides it to Johnny Walker, far goal line. He gets it and throws it back to Wright. As Wright, just outside the left circle, will tap it up top for Martin. He'll take a righty shot, saved by Shield. Rebound goes to Casey Johnson. He goes to the far corner, gets hit by Betts. Walker tries to hack it away. Keller in the area. Cameron Wright joins the play. Scrum in the far corner. Deep in Idaho zone. Utah comes out of the scrum of the puck. Left point. Martin over towards Wright. He couldn't reach it. Puck goes back to Martin. He collides with Johnson. Wright keeps in. High slot. Toe drag over to Ritchie. Now to Martin in the high slot. Now to Ritchie. Right side. He'll skate towards his left. Lefty shot. And it's blocked as the puck goes to the near corner. Wright collides with Keller. Less than 6 minutes left in the second period. Ritchie. Right circle. Flings it up top for Martin in the right point. Across to Wright. One-timer saved by Shield. Puck goes back towards Wright, who battles with Bardo. Wright gets pushed down by Bardo, no call. Walker in the area. Betts as well. As Betts skates towards the Idaho net, he gets held up by Johnson, lose the puck. Bardo collides with Walker. Puck goes up to the left point for Martin. He'll take a righty shot. He gets redirected by a stick and flies over the crossbar as it hits the glass. Betts feeds it to Wright on the left side. He'll get it across to Ritchie. Now towards the middle for Betts. He couldn't handle it. Johnson gets it. He clears it out. 10 seconds left in the power plays. Luke Martin chases after it. Both teams make a line change. Martin skates behind Miner's net. About 5 minutes left in the second period. Miner pounds his stick to the ice. Idaho's back at full strength. Utah for two on the power play tonight. Secco skates in left side. He gets it poked away. Idaho gathers it. They skate from right to left. Miller across the center ice. He collides with McDonald. And we get a whistle. I don't think Miller had crossed center ice before dumping it in. And Idaho gets called for icing. Good job by Connor McDonald cutting off Miller and forcing Miller to dump it in before he got to center ice.
I think another missed opportunity for the Grizzlies on the power play there. It just seems like they're holding on to the puck a little too long and making a pass when they really should shoot. And I think Luke Martin had an excellent chance when the puck squirted to him. He's all alone in the slot. He said chooses to hold that puck and make another pass. Just shoot the puck there. The guy's got a great shot. Why not utilize it?
Drop in the far circle. 4:47 left in the second. Utah leads the shot count 20-16. Face-off won by the Grizzlies. Kyle Mayhew gets hit by Niram. And both guys on top of each other. Mayhew and Niram. Boy, Mayhew knocks Niram down. Boy, that's going to be a penalty on Kyle Mayhew. You know what happened? Niram held Mayhew's stick. Mayhew couldn't break free. And then Mayhew took a whack at Niram. And Mayhew's the one that's going to the box. The fans voice their displeasure with 4:33 left in the second period. Timeout on the ice. When we come back, Idaho is going to be on the power play. The Steelheads lead the Grizzlies 2-1. on the Grizzlies Hockey Network.
If you're out driving and something happens to your car, truck, or even wheelchair, and you end up stuck at a rail crossing, it's going to be okay. Don't panic. Here's what you do. Get out if you can and look for this blue sign on the metal pole. Call the number on the blue sign, and when they answer, tell them the crossing number. The number is right here. This tells them the exact location of the crossing. This is the fastest way to get trains stopped before coming through the crossing. Look for the blue. It helps you.
I live for my next goal. Whether it's another pick six or another step forward in life, I wouldn't be who I am without the drive to reach it. And I wouldn't be where I am without my team. Everyone on and off the field who supports me and believes in my dreams as much as I do. Whatever your goals are, surround yourself with people who are going to help you reach toward them. Like my friends at America First, and see where life takes you.
We've had a lot of fun here tonight. It's been an interesting atmosphere and an interesting environment. It's kind of interesting that Niram drew the penalty there. It looked like those guys just were tangled up. And
yeah, they were tangled up, and you know what? I think that's one where the referee just turns his head at the end of the play, sees Niram go down, and says, all right, and sees Mayhew as the culprit, and so he goes to the box. In reality, it was both guys who were tangled up with each other. So bad break for the Grizzlies. They'll go back to the penalty kill. We'll see what they can do.
Kyle Mayhew gets 2 minutes for high sticking. Time of penalty, 15:27 into the second period. Idaho leads 2-1. Pelton Bice will take the draw against Utah's Keaton Jamison, Domowski, and Niram up front. Back end is Hedrick and Cudler for Idaho. Steelheads win the draw. Hedrick left side, fakes a shot, gets it to Cudler. One-timer, and it goes wide. He didn't miss by much. Hedrick in the left point cuts it off, but it exits his zone. Idaho resets. Cudler backpedals into his own zone. He moves to the center ice logo for Hedrick. Now to Pelton Bice, who skates down the middle. He'll drop it off for Niram, left side. He gets hit. Cudler takes over the puck. He'll skate towards his right. Cudler over to Hedrick, down the middle. Hedrick fires a righty shot, and it goes wide. Hedrick skates towards the far wing boards. He overskates the puck. Jamison battles as Penner. Jamison, good job by Jamison Penner as they clear it out. Jamison Penner have been two great glue guys for the Grizzlies all year. They come off the ice as Cudler still in there. Move it ahead to Niram. He was Game 3's hero. Over to the right side for Hedrick. He'll spin it around. Cudler along the near wing boards. Fires towards the net. He gets redirected by a stick. Miner gathers it, and he'll clear it out himself to center ice. Cudler takes net, the Idaho blue line. Halfway through Idaho's power play. It's 2-1 Steelheads. 3.5 minutes left in the second period. Idaho enters from the left side. Murphy will bounce it off the right. Right skates towards the right side with momentum. He'll skate towards the circle. Righty shot goes wide as Hedrick gets it back. Idaho comes back in the transition game. Center ice. Murphy wraps it around the boards as Utah got back defensively. Bryson Martin far side. He clears the center. Kawaguchi gets it. They'll throw it back to Bardo deep in the Steelhead zone. 35 seconds left in the power play. Now Kawaguchi gets it. Left wing pass to White. He has to skate over to get it. He battles with McDonald. Martin delivers a hit on Kawaguchi. White joins the play along the backboard deep in the Grizzlies zone. Across the right side, Idaho gets up top for Bardo. Now across to Kawaguchi. He couldn't handle it. Flies in the near corner, backhands it. Kawaguchi keeps it in. Now White throws to the right side. Idaho will skate towards their left. Now to the left side for Kawaguchi. He'll take a shot on a bounce off a McDonald skate and goes wide. As Kawaguchi left side gets it to Murphy. One-timer, saved by Miner. And he holds on just as Mayhew's coming out of the penalty box. It's a Utah disaster cleanup, successful penalty kill. The best look Idaho had there was right at the very end of the power play when Murphy had a sharp-angled one-timer from the near side that Miner made a good save on.
A great save by Trent Miner as the penalty was expiring. Just moving towards his right, able to shut it down, get up against that post to make that save.
Looked like Idaho, kind of a rare occasion for them. They had a tough time entering the zone with any sort of momentum. 2-1 Idaho, 2:32 left in the second period. Miller will take the draw against Nolan Ritchie. This is probably the best that Ritchie's looked in this series. And the draw kind of stays at Ritchie's feet and goes to Utah's. Luke Martin throws it towards Shearer, skates around Utah's net. Grizz skate from left to right. Utah flips it high into the air. It's batted at center ice by Canati. Hand pass is called as Franklin accepted the puck. This draw's going to be at neutral ice with 2:21 left in the second. We've had quite a few whistles here so far the second period.
been a strange game. It really has. I mean, we may have taken all that scoring in last night's game for granted because here we go. We got another defensive slugfest, and the ice conditions probably don't help that. So we might be in it for the long haul. It's just going to be a gritty game all around.
It's very warm in the building. It's not Boston Garden in June type of warm, but it is pretty hot in here. A little bit toasty. Might be a two-shirt kind of night. The one where you sweat through the first shirt and you got to put on a second one. Richie will take the draw against Jade Miller near the Grizzlies bench. Or Kearns High School, as I would say. Very toasty. Grizzlies win the draw. Martin dumps it in from the right wing. Heiskanen spins along the near wall. Keller battles with Luke Martin. Keller moves it ahead to Miller. Gets the center ice and he dumps it in. Franklin chases after it. Sure behind Utah's net gets the puck. Is still tapping off the near boards. Miller gathers it as he collides with Walker. Now left point Canadi. Lefty shot. Glove saved by Miner. That was a tricky one. It looked like the puck kind of knuckled on its way to Trent, but the Utah netminder holds on, and after the whistle, Nick Canadi and Johnny Walker exchanging some words. Now Walker grabs Canadi. Canadi throws a punch at Walker. Now two punches. A third punch by Canadi on Johnny Walker. But Canadi's going to have to get some penalty minutes for the punches at Walker. We'll see if Walker gets anything. Now Walker tries to grab Canadi's helmet as Canadi's going to skate to the penalty box with 1:58 left in the second. Looks like both guys with less than 2 minutes left in the second period will each head to the locker room. Canadi for Idaho and Johnny Walker for Utah.
Well, the fans sure seem to like that scuffle between Walker and Canadi. And so the question is are we going to go 5-on-5 or 4-on-4 here?
I think it's just going to be matching penalties, probably matching roughing minors. As nobody's heads to the penalty box and with less than 2 minutes left in the period, Canadi and Walker just go to the locker room. 2 minutes are put in the scoreboard clock. Canadi for Idaho, Walker for Utah. But it looks like we're going to skate 5-on-5. There's 5 Grizzlies out there. There's only 4 Steelheads at the moment. But it is just going to be matching roughing minors. So looks like we are going to skate 4-on-4 as Raby will skate off late. 4-on-4 here for the next 2 minutes. 1:58 left in the second. Hey, but the ice opened up just that much with 2 less skaters out there. Maybe this could be an opportunity for the Grizzlies to tie it up.
This could be. The Grizzlies have been really good in the transition game all series long. Look for them to utilize that here and then take advantage of that open ice.
In 4-on-4 situations this season, the Grizzlies scored 5 goals. Their opponent scored 6. Utah wins the draw. Mayhew gets tripped up, and a penalty is going to be called. Kyle Mayhew had the puck after Utah won the faceoff. He got tripped up. Ryan Domowski argues the case, but he's going to skate towards the penalty box. And the Grizzlies are going to get a 4-on-3 power play with 1:53 left in the second.
Well, now the ice will be really open on a 4-on-3 situation. And again, this does benefit the Grizzlies as they now are on the man advantage. But we'll see. I'm curious to see how the Grizzlies approach this 4-on-3 situation. It's not one that they've been in very often this season. We'll see what they can do here.
Looks like the Grizzlies taking a little bit of time as Ryan Kanaswich has a moment to talk with his 4-man unit. Sekos and Wright, as well as Mayhew and Martin, 2 forwards and 2 defensemen for the Grizzlies on this shift. Taking the draws, A.J. White. He's out there with Bardo and Casey Johnson. Johnson, in particular, has been outstanding for Idaho tonight. And as the draw won by Idaho, Johnson gets taken away by Wright. And Wright throws it up top for Luke Martin as the Grizzlies have the puck in the attack zone. As Sekos in the high slot over to Mayhew. Right side, now to Sekos. Now Mayhew throws it across to Martin. One-timer and hits the side of the net. Wright gets pushed behind Idaho's net. He gets the puck as he skates towards the corner. He's battling with Casey Johnson. Wright loses his stick. Sekos in the right point. And now to Martin on the left side. Sekos, one-timer, and it goes wide off the glass. Bardo gets it to the side of the net. He skates behind Idaho's net. Puck goes towards Mayhew. He gets it right circle. Across to Martin. Late in the first period, late in the second period, Martin skates towards his right. Now to Sekos, back to Martin. One-timer and it's blocked. It's blocked by A.J. White, who doesn't have a stick. Martin skates towards his left. Now to Mayhew, over to Martin. One-timer and it goes wide. And hits off the protective netting and out of play. A.J. White lost his stick about 20 seconds ago and blocked a shot without a stick. He now gets his stick back as he skates towards the bench.
That was essentially a 4-on-2.5 with A.J. White without his stick, but he makes an incredible shot block, and he catches that on the wrist. It appears as he was kind of grimacing and holding his hand. He still is on the Steelheads bench, so that's something to watch out for throughout the remainder of the game and the series. To me, he's been the Steelheads' best player.
That's why he's the captain.
In the last few games.
That's why he's the captain wearing the C. He really came up big for the Grizzlies 2 years ago and was a big reason as to why the Grizzlies made the playoffs in 2021. Draw taken by Kyle Betts. He's out there with Cutler, Pfizer, and Luke Martin. 3 forwards, 1 defenseman on the ice for the Grizzlies. We're skating 4-on-3 for the next minute, 3 seconds. Draw won by the Grizzlies. Cutler over to Luke Martin in the left point. As Idaho leads 2-1. Cutler over towards Martin. He switches places with Cutler. Left wing pass to Pfizer. Now to Martin, who's in the left point. Across to Cutler. Now to Pfizer. Fakes a one-timer. Gets to Martin. As Luke Martin in the left point. Dances around. He skates towards his right. Now Martin over to Cutler. He's on the right side. In the circle is Cutler. Dances around across to Pfizer. One-timer. He scores! Aaron Pfizer with a power play goal as Utah's tied it up. That's Pfizer's second power play goal of the series. He led the Grizzlies with 12 this season. That's a big goal there late in the second period.
Well, Aaron Pfizer was all alone on the far side, and Brandon Cutler realizes that, picks his head up, sees Pfizer all alone, throws a fake on the defense, then sends it across to his teammate with the Victoria Royals, and the connection hits, and the Grizzlies tie it up at 2.
Pfizer gets the goal. The assist should go to Cutler and Luke Martin. That's a very similar spot to how he scored that power play goal in Idaho earlier in the series. Time of Pfizer's power play goal, 19:23 into the second period. We're tied at 2. 36.5 seconds left in the second period. We're skating 4-on-4 again. Idaho wins the draw. We're skating 4-on-4 for the remainder of this second period. Grizzlies have it near Idaho's bench as Betts will drop it off for McDonald. 25 seconds left in the second period. McDonald over towards Betts. He collides with White. Betts keeps the puck as he skates towards the far goal line. As now he's behind Trent Miner's net. He slides to the near side for McDonald. Cameron Wright. He carries it out to center ice. Right with the left wing pass to Betts. Betts tries to center to Wright. Wright couldn't get the shot off once he got the puck. Wright loses it. 5 seconds left in the period as White throws the Bardo at center ice. And time runs out on the Steelheads as Bardo takes one final shot. Miner makes a kick save. And the Grizzlies head into the second intermission locker room with all sorts of momentum as Aaron Pfizer scored a power play goal, 19:23 into the second period. Both teams scored 1 goal in the first period and both scored 1 in the second. As Idaho took a 2-1 lead as Ryan Domowski scored 9:19 into the frame with Patrick Kubla and Justin Ducharme getting the assist. Then the Grizzlies tied it up on a 4-on-3 power play as Pfizer gets his second of the series. Both of them coming on the power play. Cutler and Martin with the assists. When we come back, Guy Chiarenza will quarterback second intermission coverage as we got ourselves an interesting hockey game. Tied at 2 after 40 minutes of play. When we come back, talk with Guy and recap the first 40 minutes. The Rio Tinto Kennecott Intermission Report starts in 2 minutes on the Grizzlies Hockey Network.
When you pay with the Nitro card at Maverik, you always save 10 cents or more on fuel every gallon, every day. And you could save a whole lot more thanks to Nitro Best Price. Pick up a Nitro card and upgrade your Adventure Club account today.
I live for my next goal. Whether it's another pick six or another step forward in life, I wouldn't be who I am without the drive to reach it. And I wouldn't be where I am without my team. Everyone on and off the field who supports me and believes in my dreams as much as I do. Whatever your goals are, surround yourself with people who are going to help you reach toward them. Like my friends at America First, and see where life takes you.
Maverik's new bean-to-cup machines always deliver a freshly ground cup of coffee on demand, so you can enjoy any of our premium roasts at their best, day or night, hot or iced. Enjoy a fresh cup today.
If you're out driving and something happens to your car, truck, or even wheelchair, and you end up stuck at a rail crossing, it's going to be okay. Don't panic. Here's what you do. Get out if you can, and look for this blue sign on the metal pole. Call the number on the blue sign, and when they answer, tell them the crossing number. The number is right here. This tells them the exact location of the crossing. This is the fastest way to get trains stopped before coming through the crossing. Look for the blue. It helps you.
Welcome back to the Grizzlies Hockey Network. We're tied at 2 after 40 minutes of play. We've got to have ourselves a classic here at the Maverik Center, following up an offensive explosion with the defensive battle here in Game 5. Utah got the scoring started 3 minutes into the first period off a goal from Nolan Ritchie. Keaton Jamison wins the faceoff, immediately gets it to Ritchie, and he whips a one-timer past Adam Shield, giving the Grizzlies a 1-0 lead. But 27 seconds later, 3:27 into the first, on the power play, Justin Ducharme nets his first of the postseason from Kawaguchi and Bardo, and was similar to the goal that the Grizzlies scored, with a little bit more cycling around in the offensive zone. Steelheads win the draw, get up to the blue line, and then find Ducharme on the near circle. He rifles a one-timer past Trent Miner for the power play goal, making it 1-1, and that's where we stood after 20 minutes of play. We go to the second period, 9:19 in. Ryan Domowski makes it a 2-1 game off a great feed from Patrick Kudla. Mousy gets his first goal of the series. Kudla and Ducharme pick up the assists. But the Grizzlies would respond on a 4-on-3 situation late in the second period. 19:23 in. Taryn Fizer on a great pass from Brandon Cutler, going cross crease, finding Fizer wide open. It's that Victoria Royals connection, I tell you. And they get it done. Cutler and Martin pick up the assists on Fizer's power play goal. And we're tied at 2 after 40 minutes of play. Utah led the shot count 15-9 after the first frame. And they lead the shot count after 2 periods, 21-19, although Idaho did outshoot the Grizzlies 10-6 in the second period. Trent Miner got the start for the Grizzlies in goal. He stopped 17 of 19. Adam Shield in net for the Steelheads, and he stopped 19 of 21. As Tyson and I pointed out, throughout the course of this game, it seems like a pretty sloppy game. Another defensive battle like we saw in the first few games of this series, but it's been fun. And the difference here has been the special teams battle, each team going 1 for 3. So you got to think whoever capitalizes on their chance in the third is likely the team that wins the game.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, it's just the chess match continues. You know, Domowski really had been active, and even leading up to that goal, he'd played outstanding. And, you know, he gave Idaho a 2-1 lead, and then just, yeah, Utah got a 4-on-3 power play, and they were very patient with their approach. I mean, obviously, you don't work on 4-on-3 power plays that often. Luke Martin really did a good job quarterbacking things. It was really that 3-man game with Cutler, Martin, and Fizer, and it seemed like Cutler moved around quite a bit. He was on the left side, kind of moved to across the right, and then once he was on the right side, fed it across to Fizer. Seems to really like that left circle quite a bit. And, you know, Fizer had a one-timer for a power play goal in Game 2, and tonight it was a very different-looking type of power play goal, but it had the same effect, the same results. You know, both teams are 1 for 3 on the power play, and we'll see if either team really gets any sort of advantage. We'll see if we get many power plays in the third period. It could be one of those things. We see the final 20 minutes of regulation where you don't see many power plays. You know, it's really anybody's game, just like Game 3 was, and Game 4, and even Game 2 for the majority of it. You know, it just feels like another Grizzlies Steelheads type of classic battle.
Yeah, it seems that way, Tyson. And we talked about the face-off battle in the first period, the Grizzlies winning that edge. They had the edge again in the second period, but this time a much slimmer margin, 13-11. It was 13-7 in the first, after the first period. So now Utah leads the face-off battle 26-18. So the Grizzlies still doing a good job in the face-off circle, getting possession, especially on those offensive zone draws. And we saw the Steelheads ice the puck a few times, a lot of times in the second period.
Yeah.
But the Grizzlies seem to be able to capitalize on those face-offs in the offensive zone. 4 shots on the power play for the Grizzlies, 5 for the Steelheads. It's a pretty even 10-11 in favor of the Grizzlies, although the Grizzlies have been turning the puck over more often than the Steelheads. In this game, it's 18-11. Steelheads 11 with the Grizzlies 18. So the Grizzlies really need to find a way to rein the puck in. But if they're able to do that and continue to win faceoffs, I like their chances to really be able to establish themselves in the third period on the forecheck.
It'll be interesting to see who's aggressive offensively for the Grizzlies. You know, I thought coming into play that Brandon Cutler needed to do something offensively for Utah. Obviously, he had an assist there in the second period. He leads the way with 4 shots. Taryn Feiser's got 3. Same as the case with Cameron Wright. For Idaho, A.J. White's got 4 shots. 3 shots for Justin Ducharme and Ryan Domowski. Ducharme and Domowski have the Idaho goals. Ducharme with 1 goal and 1 assist tonight. I think the interesting thing is just trying to figure out what's going to be that difference maker. It's just one of those where there's been a lot of talk, they played each other so much that I think both teams have read each other just like Shakespeare. It's just, and because of that, it may come down to something that, a redirection. It really is going to come down to that.
Yeah, so here's the thing for me. I think that, 1, I think you're right, but 2, I also think that in the last couple of games, the games that the Grizzlies have lost, games 3 and 4, there's always been that sleeper period for the Grizzlies where they just come out flat and they really don't do a whole lot. And as a result of that, the Steelheads either climb back into the game or take a lead. And so the Grizzlies find themselves scrambling to try and get back into the game, whether it's in overtime or in the third period. Yesterday, that period was the second period for the Grizzlies, and game 3 was the third period. I look at the shot count here in the second. Not good for the Grizzlies. Only 6 shots on the board to Idaho's 10. I don't think both teams really had a great second period. I think it was just okay for Idaho, maybe a little subpar for the Grizzlies. And, hey, if that's the Grizzlies' down period in this game, not too bad. They still got a goal out of it. We're tied. But I think the key for the Grizzlies is they can't come out flat here in the third period. They have to bring the heat here in the third. You're right. They have to be aggressive. They have to come out, force turnovers on the Steelheads and make them make those mistakes. You don't want to play timid. You don't want to be the one to make the mistake. If you're aggressive, you're going to be the one forcing those mistakes in the offensive zone.
The winner of this series will face the winner of the Allen Americans Kansas City Mavericks set. Remember, both series coming into play tonight, tied 2 games apiece. Interesting to note, the road team has won each of the first 4 games of this series. The team that has scored first has won each of the first 4 games. Utah did score first 3 minutes into the contest, with Nolan Ritchie getting his first of the series. The Allen-Kansas City game has gone final, and when we come back, we'll tell you who won that game and has picked up a 3-2 series lead. We'll also go over some of the other scores in the league and some NHL scores as well. Second intermission here at Maverik Center. We're tied at 2 on the Grizzlies Hockey Network.
When you pay with the Nitro card at Maverik, you always save 10 cents or more on fuel every gallon, every day. And you could save a whole lot more thanks to Nitro Best Price. Pick up a Nitro card and upgrade your Adventure Club account today.
I live for my next goal. Whether it's another pick 6 or another step forward in life, I wouldn't be who I am without the drive to reach it. And I wouldn't be where I am without my team. Everyone on and off the field who supports me and believes in my dreams as much as I do. Whatever your goals are, surround yourself with people who are going to help you reach toward them. Like my friends at America First, and see where life takes you.
Maverik's new bean-to-cup machines always deliver a freshly ground cup of coffee on demand, so you can enjoy any of our premium roasts at their best, day or night, hot or iced. Enjoy a fresh cup today.
If you're out driving and something happens to your car, truck, or even wheelchair, and you end up stuck at a rail crossing, it's going to be okay. Don't panic. Here's what you do. Get out if you can, and look for this blue sign on the metal pole. Call the number on the blue sign, and when they answer, tell them the crossing number. The number is right here. This tells them the exact location of the crossing. This is the fastest way to get trains stopped before coming through the crossing. Look for the blue. It helps you.
Welcome back to Maverik Center. I'm Tyson Whiting here with Guy Chiarenza. Third period action will begin shortly as we're tied at 2 here in Game 5 of the Mountain Division semifinals. The series is tied 2 games apiece. We got ourselves an exciting third period in store. Some interesting NHL action tonight. The Toronto Maple Leafs defeat Tampa Bay 2-1 in overtime. That's right, the Toronto Maple Leafs win the first round series 4-2. They advance to the second round. Other action in the Eastern Conference, the Rangers defeat the Devils 5-2 as New York has tied that series 3 games apiece. There will be a 7th game in the Devils-Rangers best-of-7 series. After 1 period, Edmonton leads the LA Kings 2-1. Edmonton leads that series 3-2. It's kind of interesting to see Stuart Skinner play so well for Edmonton. He used to play for the Wichita Thunder back in this league. In fact, the Grizzlies had a pretty good head-to-head record against Stuart Skinner in the past. Skinner in the first period stopped 16 of 17. Connor McDavid does have one of the Edmonton 2 goals in the first period, as through 1, Edmonton leads the LA Kings 2-1. In the NBA 1 playoff game, it's gone final. The Denver Nuggets defeat the Phoenix Suns 125-107 as the first game of a best-of-7 Western Conference semifinal series. That's going to be quite the battle. In the other Western Conference series, the LA Lakers will face the winner of the Golden State Warriors Sacramento Kings Game 7 series. They're playing the fight song here tonight, second intermission. Jake's dancing away. The other 4 ECHL games have gone final. Allen defeated Kansas City 4-3 to take a 3-2 series lead. Kansas City scored 2 third-period goals, but really the big difference was the 4 unanswered for Allen. Chris Mallory scored late in the first period, then Allen scored 3 unanswered in the second period. Theo Calvis and Hugo Waugh scored for Kansas City in the third period. Kansas City scored their third goal of the game with 12 seconds left in regulation. Final score at Credit Union of Texas Event Center, Allen 4, Kansas City 3. In other action in the league, South Division, Jacksonville defeats Greenville 5-4, as Jacksonville, we believe, has taken a 3-2 series lead. And Florida over South Carolina 4-0 as the Everblades, the defending champs, take a 3-2 series lead. And in the North Division, Reading completes the series. They defeat Maine 6-2 as Reading wins that set 4-2. Well, before we head to the third period, it's going to be interesting to see what's going to be the difference in this game. Is it going to be a redirection? Is it going to be a power play? We're going to skate 4-on-4 for 2 seconds to start the third period. I got a feeling the word and really the key phrase in the third period is going to be discipline.
Yep.
Discipline and aggressiveness. If the Grizzlies can play that here in the final 20 minutes of regulation, they can come out on top.
I agree, Tyson. I think if you lose this game, you feel a little bit better about it. If you lose it in the 5-on-5 battle, you don't want to lose it on a penalty kill situation where you let in a power play goal. I mean, you just got to stay disciplined, stay out of the penalty box. And you're right, it may come down to just a tip, and we've seen a lot of sloppy play because of the ice conditions. It might come down to that. Maybe a bouncing puck in front of the crease, someone just whacks it in, and the goaltender never has a chance to stop it. Might end up being one of those plays. So if you're the Grizzlies, you got to find a way to just find those opportunities before they happen, be able to anticipate those plays. As tough it is with just the way the puck is bouncing, just find a way to anticipate the puck's next move and just try and get that tip in.
When we come back in 90 seconds, we'll have third period action. It's the Grizzlies 2 and the Steelheads 2 on the Grizzlies Hockey Network.
Maverik's new bean-to-cup machines always deliver a freshly ground cup of coffee on demand, so you can enjoy any of our premium roasts at their best, day or night, hot or iced. Enjoy a fresh cup today.
Expectations here will always remain high, and we'll continue to find a way.
Guys put together a lot of good games, you know.
Welcome back to Maverik Center. We're about set to start the third period. Both teams scored one goal in the first frame. Nolan Ritchie 3 minutes in. 27 seconds later, Justin Ducharme with a power play goal for Idaho. In the second period, Ryan Domowski scored 9:19 with Cutler and Ducharme getting the assist. Ducharme's got 1 goal and 1 assist tonight. Pfizer tied it up on a power play goal with 37 seconds left in the second, with Brandon Cutler and Luke Martin getting the assists. Both teams are 1 for 3 on the power play. Utah has a slide edge in the shot count, 21-19. Adam Schill has stopped 19 of 21 for Idaho. Utah's Trent Miner has saved 17 of 19. Seems like a very warm building here tonight. Ice surface playing some tricks tonight. Guy, where are they going to give me the keys for the Grizzlies here in the third period?
I think the key word, Tyson, heat. We know that heat has played a factor on the ice, but the drama is high. The intensity is here. Grizzlies need to play with fire. They need to bring the heat to the Steelheads here in the third period, because you mentioned that insane stat in the pregame. The Steelheads have not won against the Grizzlies in the playoffs since 2010 in regulation. Grizzlies need to find a way to get it done here in the third period. You don't want to go to overtime.
Utah has won 7 times against the Steelheads in postseason competition. All 7 have come in regulation. So I think if you're a Grizzlies fan, you'd like to see this thing end in regulation. That'd be a benefit to the Grizzlies. 20 minutes are put on the stadium scoreboard clock, but they're still working on the ice. Obviously, it is a warm night in the building, and it seems like they're going to take a little bit extra time to let the Zamboni do its thing. And I think just seeing the squeegees out there just kind of point out just how warm it is and how warm the ice is. And because of that, we've seen the puck kind of bounce around quite a bit. It hasn't really smoothly glided along the ice as it normally would. And because of that, it seems like the play's been a little bit more choppy. And because of that, my call's been a little bit more choppy tonight as well. It's just kind of been a choppy night.
It really has been. Just been a wonky game. But, hey, we finally got a nice day here in the Salt Lake Valley. The cold, I think, is finally over. And so while it is playing tricks on the ice, it's good to see some nice weather.
The winner tonight will take a 3-2 series lead. Game 6 will be on Monday night at Idaho Central Arena. Game 7, if necessary, will be on Tuesday night. Pivotal 5th game. The winner takes a commanding 3-2 series lead. As A.J. White will take the draw against Keaton Jamison. Don't forget, we're going to skate 4-on-4 for the first 2 seconds. As off the draw, it's won by Idaho. Both teams are back at full strength. As Kanadi out of the box for Idaho and Johnny Walker for Utah. As Nick Kanadi gets the neutralize, he gets back checked by Penner. Kanadi crosses center ice. He falls down. He trips up Jamison on accident. No call. As the puck deep in the Grizzlies zone. Big hit as Aaron Tho got blasted by Wade Murphy. As Walker gets the puck on a pass from Mayhew. Now across to Jamison. He enters from the left side. He'll get it over to Tho. One-timer goes wide. Puck glides along the far boards. Mayhew chases after it as he gets behind Utah's net. He'll chip it to Tho, who skates towards the far corner. Tho gets it. He'll backhand it out to neutralize. It's taken by Owen Hedrick. So he'll throw it back to Kudla. Over to Hedrick. He's at neutralize. He'll get it ahead to Keller, who gains center ice. He'll bounce it off a Shearer. Now ahead to Kyle Betts. Right wing pass to right. As he'll throw it towards the middle. It's cut off by Hedrick, who clears it out to center. Shearer gathers it. He gets to the Utah blue line. He'll slide it across to Martin. Now ahead to Betts, who gets it right wing. Betts steps over the blue line. He gets hit by Ducharme. Puck goes over to Idaho as Kudla skates around the net. He'll chip it to the near side for Hedrick, who leads it out to center ice for Keller. Now to Ducharme. It gets hit by Luke Martin. Hedrick in the area. As right in the corner deep in the Grizzly zone. Throws it back to Betts. Now to Cameron Wright. As Utah skating from right to left here in the third period. Idaho from left to right as we see it. Betts crosses center ice. And they'll chip it in. Grizzlies make a line change. 1.5 minutes into the third period. Ice looks like it's yet to settle in. Idaho throws it ahead. Niram played it with a high stick. It rolls to Trent Miner. And the whistle blows as Niram played it with a high stick at neutral ice. The draw is going to come out to neutral zone and into the neutral zone, Grizzlies territory. 18:24 left here in the third.
Well, I think it's interesting that you mentioned the ice being a little bit slicker, not really settling in. I think this is dangerous. We've seen Idaho score in the opening minutes of periods quite often throughout the course of this season. And especially here, it's dangerous because, right, that ice really isn't settling in. So the puck, we saw Aaron Tho take a blast, and he shot it and went all the way back down and was still had a ton of steam as it went around the end boards in the Grizzlies zone. So I think when you're making passes right now, you have to really understand that the puck is going to glide a lot more than normal just because we're at the top of a period and the ice is really playing tricks on teams here today.
Draws at center ice. All four officials talked about where the draw was going to be. One of the referees goes to Ryan Kanaswich and explains why it's going to be a center ice face-off as Niren played it with a high stick and neutral ice, and the puck ended up bouncing to Trent Miner. From that, as Utah wins the draw, Mayhew over to Tho. Both guys are +4 in this series. Tho loses his stick and literally kicks it deeper in the Grizzlies zone. Tho will get a stick from the equipment manager, Mason Wayland. As action in the Grizzlies zone, Mayhew over towards Sekos. Moves out to center ice, and it goes wide as Idaho will chip it ahead. Bice, right wing, dumps it in. As tapped off his stick, Miner throws to the far side for Mayhew. 2 minutes into the third period. We're still tied at 2. As Pfizer glides it across. Cutler couldn't reach it. Now he gets there. Make that Tho over towards Cutler. Sekos back to Tho at the Utah blue line. He mishandled the puck as he tried to throw it to Mayhew. Domowski dumps it in. Boy, it looks like the ice surface is really playing tricks on the puck. Right, over towards the left side. Bice shot saved by Miner. But Bice had a really good look from the left side, but Miner makes a glove save. 17:37 left in the third. We're still tied at 2.
I think this game is about as tight as you can get. Shots are 21 apiece. We're tied at 2. I mean, both teams, we can talk about the ice surface, but really both teams have to play on it. So I think whoever uses the ice to their advantage here in the third period is the team that's going to win the game.
Draw taken by A.J. White against Keaton Jamison. White, the Steelheads captain. Draw won by the Grizzlies. McDonald over towards Bryson Martin, who's playing for the first time this series. Over to Ritchie, who moves out to center ice. It's taken away by Kanadi. He skates towards his left and dumps it in. As Martin behind Miner's net will chip it to the far side. As McDonald over towards Jamison. He looked for Fitz, pass behind him. Franklin dumps it in from the high slot. And it's put to the far corner. Fitz battles. Jamison gets poked away back to the corner. McDonald gets it back to Jamison. So toss it to Dylan Fitz, far side. He'll tap it off a Kanadi's stick. And now it goes to center ice. Keller gathers it, and he'll lift it high into the air. It's gloved by Miner, shoulder high. Keller skates over there, stops in front of the crease, and the whistle blows. 17:01 left in the third. Draw's going to be in the Grizzlies zone.
Well, we saw a lot of whistles here in the second period. Looks like that trend is going to continue here in the third. And that makes faceoff super important. The good news for the Grizzlies is they have some really good faceoff takers on their team. Looks like Kyle Betts is going to go out and take this one. But you think about Betts, Sekos, Penner, Jamison. All guys are really good in the faceoff circle for the Grizzlies.
Draws in the near circle. Taken by Kyle Betts and won by Betts. He's been a great addition to the Grizzlies late in the regular season and into the playoffs. Cameron Wright ahead to Dakota Arabia. Tapped off a Cutlass stick. Betts glides towards the left circle. Lefty shot as Pat saved by Shield. Puck goes towards Cudlow, moves it ahead. Jade Miller towards center ice, crosses center, and he'll dump it in. As it bounces off the right corner on one skip of the ice. And it's big collision. Ducharme and Shearer. Ducharme's got 2 points tonight. Luke Martin slides it to Kyle Betts, who gets the center ice. Betts loses the puck as Jade Miller skates in from the left wing as he gets quadruple teamed. Lefty shot, glove saved by Miner as he makes the stop about knee high. He holds on with 16:26 left in the third.
I think the difference for the Grizzlies, if they're going to win this game, is going to have to be Trent Miner. Sometimes it's those things that he can't do, those tip-ins out in front, those screens, but if he's able to see it, he's probably going to stop it. Miner, the reason the Grizzlies won games 1 and 2, he's going to have to be sharp to finish in this game if he's going to win.
Draws in the far circle, the 2 number 17. Sekos for the Grizzlies and Pelton Bice for Idaho. According to the scoreboard, both teams still have just 21 shots. Grizzlies win the draw. Pfizer lifts it in the air. It goes to center ice and glides on its side in the Steelhead zone. Bardo clears it back to center. Bice ahead to Murphy, who dumps it in from neutral ice. Miner behind his net. Will throw it to the far side for Pfizer. He'll drift it ahead for Mayhew, who gets to center ice. Now Cutler gets it left side. Let's get towards the circle. Lefty shot, saved by Shield. Rebound, Cutler feeds out in front. And the pass to Pfizer misses him. And glides all the way out towards Trent Miner. So give it to Aaron Tho. He was a +4 this season. He was outstanding in the plus-minus category in the final 2 months of the season. Though over towards Mayhew, it spins along the near boards to neutral ice. Sekos gets it. Rink-wide pass is cut off by Neerum. He glides towards the Steelheads bench. Goes back to Bryson Martin in Utah's end. So feed it to Mayhew. Back towards Minor in front of Utah's net. As Martin throws it towards Sekos. Got redirected in Steelheads territory. No icing. As Nick Canati gets it behind Idaho's net. Grizzlies in the black jerseys with white numbers, professional green trim. Idaho with a white jersey with black lettering, black numbers, and a little bit of blue mixed in. As A.J. White throws it to the near side. As they enter the Grizzly zone, Martin clears it back to center. Bryson Martin, that is. Nick Canati will pitchfork it into the Grizzly zone. Martin kicks it towards the end boards as McDonald over towards Bryson Martin. Head to Walker, who lifts it in the air. Chasing after it's Richie. It bounces over his stick. As Kawaguchi gathers the puck. Right wing chip to White. They'll skate towards the right circle. They're dropping off for Haskin. And one-timer kick save by Minor. Rebound goes out to the left point. Hedrick trying to keep it in. He does. Kawaguchi gets pushed by Richie along the far boards. Neerum battles. Cameron Wright clears it out. It goes towards Cudla. He slides it to the near side for Hedrick. He enters his zone. Hedrick feeds it across. He goes over the stick of Franklin, who gets it off the boards. He'll tap it over to the left point. Now across to Cudla. One-timer goes wide. McDonald turns it over. Miller will bounce off of Raby. He goes to neutral ice. Miller glides it to Cudla. He feeds it to the far side as Ducharme dumps it in. Minor far side of the goal line gets to Martin. Now across to McDonald. He will lift it out to center. It goes to Cudla. He gets the center ice logo. He dumps it back in. Bryson Martin chases after it. He gets it in the near corner. He'll move it to Pfizer. As Pfizer skates along the left wing. Backhand pass to Betts connects. He'll skate towards the right circle. He'll take a shot, and he's taken away by Ducharme with a great back check. Idaho comes back the other way. They step over the line. Bice, left side, feeds it to the right corner. Betts with good speed, glides over there. Tapping off the boards, and goes to Bardo. Dawson Bardo ahead to Domowski. And he'll throw it across, and icing is on the Steelheads as he was looking for Keller and just glided the pass too far in front of him.
Well, tough break for the Grizzlies a few times, trying to bustle into the offensive zone, but just had the puck roll off their sticks. Really, that's just been the story of this game. Just ice is playing tricks on both teams. As a result of that, you just kind of get pucks kind of flopping around, bouncing around, really tough to handle. But whoever's able to overcome that the most during the third is going to be the team that wins the game.
Seems like both teams are playing it a little bit more patiently here so far. Both teams 22 shots tonight. We're tied at 2. Utah wins the draw. Martin over towards Cutler, left side. Lefty shot. Glove saved by Shield. 13:36 left in regulation. We're tied at 2. We'll come back in 1 minute on the Grizzlies Hockey Network. 13:36 left in the third period. Just about twos across the board. We're tied at 2 here in Game 5. The series is tied 2-2. Idaho 22 shots. The Grizzlies with 1 before the timeout. Now 23 shots. It's been a crazy game here so far. Kind of a different kind of crazy than what we saw last night, where Idaho won in overtime 6-5.
It's just been one of those games, Tyson, where it's been very sloppy hockey, very patient hockey on both sides. It kind of reminds me of what we saw against the Tulsa Oilers at the end of the season, where it's just very patient hockey, kind of a slugfest. And you add poor ice conditions to that, you just get a very choppy game.
Draws in the near circle of the Steelhead zone. Idaho wins it. As Kawaguchi throws out the center ice, it bounced off of Martin. And it turns into a hand pass. Luke Martin, that is. As we got L. Martin on the back of Luke Martin's jersey and B. Martin for Bryson Martin. No relation. Luke Martin grew up in St. Louis, Missouri, and Bryson Martin is from Canada.
We're glad to have both Martins on our team. Luke Martin coming back on reassignment from the Colorado Eagles to the Grizzlies late in the regular season. And Bryson Martin has been a good defensive player for the Grizzlies all season long.
Bryson Martin replacing Corey Thomas in the lineup, and Johnny Walker replacing Jordan Martell, who's a scratch. As Steelheads have in their own zone, they lose it. Martin right side, trying to get to Sekos, who couldn't reach it. Cutler on the near side, battles with Dawson Bardo. Bardo will literally kick it from one corner to the other as A.J. White, the Steelheads captain, gets ahead to Casey Johnson, who's been outstanding tonight. Over towards Murphy. He enters the zone and gets challenged by Luke Martin. Cutler throws it towards Steelheads territory. Haskinen gets it neutralized. He'll skate towards the right wing. He'll wrap it around the boards after crossing center ice. Martin will bounce it towards Ritchie as White will throw it to the corner. Kawaguchi gets it. As he'll skate towards the point. Now backhanded to Kanadi. Now Haskinen, right side. Shot is blocked by Sekos. Now the puck goes to Ritchie. Across the Pfizer near Utah's bench. He'll dump it in. Steelheads chasing after it. No icing as Grizzlies make a full line change. Nick Kanadi with great speed. Skates along the near side. Now he crosses center. Left wing pass. Domowski, lefty shot. Saved by Minor. That was a blast by Ryan Domowski. Minor had to bounce off his glove, but it didn't trickle far as he was able to cover up with 12:28 left in the third.
Well, that was a low line drive by Ryan Domowski. Just great save by Detroit Minor to read that. We see Domowski really having a solid game for the Steelheads tonight. Has a goal for Idaho. Really has been a dangerous player over the last few games for the Steelheads.
Draws in the far circle. Grizzlies Ironman Tyler Penner takes it against Pelton Bice. Utah wins the draw. Fitz lifts it high into the air. Haskinen chases after it. It looks like it's going to be icing on the Grizzlies with 12:20 left in the third period. Regardless of what happens tonight, Game 6 will be necessary on Monday night. 6:50 pregame show, 7:10 face-off. Guy and I will probably be in the lobby at Maverik Center doing our remote broadcast. If Game 7 is necessary, it's going to be on Tuesday night. Same time, same channels. And there's a draw in the far circle, won by Idaho. Cudla, left side, gets it across to Hedrick. Now back to Cudla. He's in the left. He slides it towards the middle. Bice with a lefty shot, and it's blocked by Bryson Martin. Fitz throws it towards Penner. Back to Bryson Martin, who's played a good game. So he'll get it towards Ritchie. He's along the near side, across to McDonald, who gets to neutralize. The captain crosses center, and he'll wrap it around the boards. Hits a stanchion. Hits the side of the net. Shield didn't know where it was. Now right side, Grizzlies beat it across. It bounced off the near wall. Martin wraps it around, and it takes a weird ride over to the far side. Bice gets it. He was last night's hero. He redirected the Hedrick shot. He skates in left side, fires a shot, kick saved by Minor. McDonald throws to the left point. Near him keeps it in. Across to Hedrick. We'll roll it around the wall as Bice gets a screen from Nearham. Bice to the left side. Tosses up top to Bardo. Take a righty shot. Kick saved by Minor. Rebound goes to Domowski in the far side. They'll skate towards the point. Domowski will bounce it off of Fitz. It stays in the Grizzly zone. Miller to the left side. Skates towards the corner. Now around the net as Nearham sets a screen. McDonald with a big hit on Miller. That's Miller looking for the puck. Raby overskated it, but he gets it back. He lifts it over Fitz's head. And icing's going to be on the Grizzlies with 11:06 left in the third.
So for me, Tyson, I think the guy that the Grizzlies need to watch out for here in the third period is just going to the bench for the Steelheads right now. But number 7 in white, Owen Hedrick, has 5 assists and no goals coming into this game. But really, he's the defenseman of the year. Great on the blue line for Idaho, but really a good offensive defenseman. We saw him in overtime last night's game. He took that initial shot, which was redirected by Ty Pelton Bice out in front. He's dangerous. Watch out for him.
Off the draw, left wing shot saved by Minor. That was taken by Willie Nearham. Grizzlies tapping off the glass. Raby negates the icing with his great speed. As Bardo and Raby battle in the far corner deep in the Steelhead zone. Right wing, shot goes wide. That was taken by Wright. As Idaho clears it out to center. Taken by Mayhew, skates towards the Utah blue line. No, backhand it to Raby near Utah's bench. He dumps it in. Raby, the Michigan man who played at Sacred Heart for a year after 4 years at Michigan. Raby throws to right. It glanced off his stick towards the far goal line. Bardo will tap it off the glass. Mayhew rolls it around. Raby in the far side, near the 2 News and hook and rail sign. As Raby throws it up top for Tho, but the pass goes wide. And on his side, Tho will get it near the Utah blue line. Steelheads make a line change. Tho gets the center ice, left wing chip towards right. Now Betts throws it back to right. Now cross, Cutler, shot saved by Shield. Rebound goes to Idaho. Make that Tho with the shot. As Franklin to the right side, he crosses center, 2-on-2. Franklin skates to the circle, centering pass, shot. Saved by Minor. What a stop by Trent as Kawaguchi was cutting towards the net and had a good look. Though skates in right side. He gets around Kanadi. He's in the corner, though. Flips it around. It gets cut off by Heiskanen. He throws the center ice. Shearer back at the Utah blue line. Throws to Ritchie. Back to Shearer. Halfway through the third period, we're still tied at 2. Nobody scored here in the final frame. Jamison gets to the line. Heiskanen throws it back to center. Now Ritchie across to Luke Martin, who crosses center ice. He'll lift it towards Schill. Bounced off the stick of Heiskanen. He will throw it across as Kanadi out towards neutral ice. Gets around Walker. Pass bounced off a Grizzly. Now Kanadi gets it back. He battles with Walker. As Walker loses his feet. He has the puck and he'll get to Jamison. Now Shearer has it near side of the Grizzlies zone. He'll lead it out to Ritchie. He'll have a tap off him at center ice, and it flies into the Steelhead zone. Grizzlies make a full line change. About 9 minutes left in the third as Hedrick throws it towards the slot. Now it's taken away. Domowski's shot blocked by McDonald. As the Steelheads behind Utah's net. Bice throws it up top to Hedrick. Right point shot, and it's blocked. The Steelheads get it. Domowski with a shot, hits the side of the net. Pudla towards Domowski. Grizzlies clear it out to center. Pfizer gets the puck one-on-one. He skates towards the right side. Hedrick throws him towards the end wall. Great defensive play by Owen Hedrick. As puck goes to Pfizer, skates towards the near side. Now to the left side for Mayhew. One-timer's blocked. Now Cutler backhand shots blocked. And the Steelheads fling it along the far wing boards. Cut off by Tho. But the puck just glided off his stick and towards Grizzlies territory. Boy, in a normal ice surface day, Tho wouldn't do that. He'd be able to make the pass with ease. He'll throw it ahead. It glanced off a Steelhead stick and goes into the Idaho zone deep as Schill throws to the near side. And as Keller over towards Miller, he gets tripped up. No call on the play as he crosses center. Miller can't believe it. Deep in the Grizzlies zone. Ducharme, already with the 2-point game, gets held up by Shearer. Keller joins the play. Luke Martin in the area, so is Kyle Betts. Luke Martin comes out of the pile with the puck. He'll throw it across the right. And now he gets it back to Martin. So toss off the near wall for Raby. Rink-wide pass. It's collected by Wright. He skates towards the right circle. He stops. Waits for everybody else to enter the zone. Cross to Shearer, left side. Shot saved by Schill. Idaho tries to clear it out. Wright keeps it in. Now left point Martin. As he'll throw it to the corner. Raby gets pushed by Keller. Raby around the net. As now he's to the right side, slides it in front for Betts. He couldn't reach it. Puck goes to A.J. White's stick. He'll throw it to the far side. Keller throws Raby into the boards. Raby's on his backside. Pitts comes out with a puck. He'll skate towards the left side. Righty shot. Saved by Shield. And he holds on. A lot of back and forth action. 7:09 left in the third. We're still tied at 2.
Great back and forth action, Tyson. You're right, but I really love the offensive zone time that the Grizzlies have had recently. Those last few shifts were amazing. Reminds me of what they were able to do at the end of regulation in Game 4, really just pushing the narrative in the offensive zone, just kind of suffocating the Steelheads to death in their own zone. And so if the Grizzlies can get more of the same here, I think they're just knocking on the door for another goal.
Pivotal Game 5 of the best-of-7 series. Allen won Game 5 of their set against Kansas City 4-3. Allen leads 3-2. The winner of this series will face the winner of Allen and Kansas City. Draws in the near circle, and it's won by Idaho as Cody Heiskanen near side lifts it out to center. McDonald chases after it. He gets at the Utah blue line. They'll throw it across to Bryson Martin wearing number 14. He'll lift it out to center. Fits in the left side, neutral ice. Heiskanen pokes it away. Willie Niram skates towards the right circle. He looked to center it. Nobody was home as the puck goes wide towards the left point. Kanani fires towards the net and then misses everything as it bounced off the glass. Now Fitz crosses center ice. 3-on-3. He'll chip it towards Penner. Centering pass goes over the stick of Jamison, who couldn't get it. Niram clears it out to center. Puck goes back to McDonald, across to Martin. He gets the center ice. He enters. He veers off to the right. Looked like Jamison took it away from his teammate. It's Kawaguchi. Throws it towards Kanadi. Grizzlies get a new set of forwards on the ice as Kanadi skates down the middle. Now moving ahead to Miller. Skates down the middle. They'll throw it to his right for Franklin. He wraps it around the boards. Pfizer along the far side. Gets it poked away. Miller battles. Pfizer gets it back. He'll lift it over the stick of Sekos. It goes to center ice. Hedrick moves ahead to Franklin, who slides it to the middle. Domowski, the slot. Lefty shot goes wide. Miller throws it around the wall. Domowski, he's over to the left side. He'll throw it up top for Kudla. Now to Hedrick. High slot. Righty shot. And it's blocked out in front. Miner got a piece of it. As Grizzlies to neutral ice. Hedrick with the puck as he battles with Cutler. As now Domowski has it in his own zone. Over towards Hedrick. So feed a near wing pass to Franklin off the boards. The former Allen American gets the Cudla. Drops off for Franklin. Right side, righty shot. Saved by Minor. Trent holds on with 5:36 left in regulation. Time out on the ice. We'll be back in 1 minute to find out how this one ends. We're tied at 2 on the Grizzlies Hockey Network.
If you're out driving and something happens to your car, truck, or even wheelchair, and you end up stuck at a rail crossing, it's going to be okay. Don't panic. Here's what you do. Get out if you can and look for this blue sign on the metal pole. Call the number on the blue sign, and when they answer, tell them the crossing number. The number is right here. This tells them the exact location of the crossing. This is the fastest way to get trains stopped before coming through the crossing. Look for the blue. It helps you.
I live for my next goal. Whether it's another pick six or another step forward in life, I wouldn't be who I am without the drive to reach it. And I wouldn't be where I am without my team. Everyone on and off the field who supports me and believes in my dreams as much as I do. Whatever your goals are, surround yourself with people who are going to help you reach toward them. Like my friends at America First, and see where life takes you.
5:36 left in the third period. We're still tied at 2. A lot of back and forth action. Guy, what have you seen?
Well, Tyson, you're right, back and forth action, but the Grizzlies really have been the better offensive team over the last few shifts. I think right now Chris Meany is roaring. They need to take the energy from the crowd and just get right back on their horse and go back into the Steelhead zone and continue to push the narrative, because you mentioned you don't want to go to overtime against the Steelheads.
Yeah.
Grizzlies have not won against the Steelheads in overtime in a very long time, like you mentioned before.
I think it's ever that the Grizzlies have won against Idaho in overtime in the playoffs. Idaho wins the draw. They're in the attack zone as they skate from left to right here in the third period, as we see it from high top section 114. Battle along the far wing boards. Right battles with Murphy. Now left point. Lefty shot. Kick saved by Minor. Puck goes to Ducharmer's. Already got 1 goal and 1 assist tonight. He loses it, and James Shearer skates towards the near corner. It's happening off the glass. Murphy collides with Raby as the puck goes to neutralize. Kyle Betts gets, he's got great speed. He'll skate towards the left side, now around the net. Betts out to the right side, flies around. He centers it to Shearer. Lefty shot goes high. As now the puck goes over towards Cameron Wright. Luke Martin in the near side. Rolls it around. Right around the net. Now Raby gets it right side. He centers to Betts. Betts gets cut off by Casey Johnson. Now wrap around, right shot, saved by Shield. Puck goes to the right point. Shield skates over to keep it in. Now Murphy taps it as Murphy battles with Betts. White will bounce it off of Shearer as Raby over towards Ducharme clears it out. And no icing as Idaho makes a full line change. 4.5 minutes left in the third period. We're still tied at 2. Martin throws to the right side for Walker. He skates towards the right circle. They got a shot. He fanned on it as Jamison loses the puck. Puck continues to play tricks on both teams. Canati skates to the right side. Over to the circle. Canati looking for a spin move. Richie read the play like a book, and he lifts it in the air and throws it into the Idaho zone as it wobbles. Now Haskinen gets it. He skates around Idaho's net as Idaho resets the offensive attack with 4 minutes left in regulation. They throw it to the far side as Idaho gets to Keller. Pass goes to his tape and bounces off of his stick as McDonald will clear it all the way out. And it's going to be icing on the Grizzlies with 3:52 left in the third.
Well, once again, here we are late in the third period. High drama at the Maverik Center, just like it's been in all 3 games here at the Mav. Question is will the Grizzlies come out on top this time? You get this feeling that this late in the third period, 3:52 to go in regulation, it's got that next goal wins type of feel. I like what the Grizzlies have been able to do in the offensive zone, but I can't help but feel like they just need to start shooting the puck a little bit more. I think they're holding on to the puck a little bit more than they should.
Draw one by the Steelheads. They're in the attack zone. Cudla backhand shot goes wide. Keller looked for a shot, and it goes wide as well. Left point. Kawaguchi skates towards the corner, gets hit by Johnny Walker. As Kawaguchi loses the puck, McDonald throws it across to Bryson Martin. It's Martin over towards Richie. He gets the center ice. Richie skates in as he gets around Patrick Cudla. Richie around the net. Over towards Walker, who gets up top from Mayhew. Trying to throw it back to Walker, did Mayhew, and it's picked off by Idaho as they slide it to center ice. Keller across the center, right wing. He loses. He couldn't dump it in. As puck in neutral ice. Idaho gets it. They lift it over the head of Sekos. It bounces at the Utah blue line. Martin throws it towards the bench. Now Domowski gets it. Neutral zone shot. Saved by Minor. Rebound goes out to Pfizer. Far side. He'll tap it to the point. It's cut off by Willie Niram. They'll wrap it around the boards as Though takes the puck in the far corner, deep in his own zone. So chip it to Cutler, skates towards the near corner. Cutler gets hit. Idaho will bounce it off of Sekos. Now Miller back in the corner, throws it up top for Bardo, who keeps it in. He'll throw it to the high slot for Johnson. Will skate towards his right. Johnson towards the corner. Gets pinned by Mayhew. Now Niram gets pushed by Sekos along the wall. As the puck goes towards the middle, Pfizer cuts it off. He gets to Cutler, now back to Pfizer. Right wing pass goes to Thoe. He'll skate towards the right circle. He looked to start to Pfizer, but the pass went behind him. Idaho clears it out the center. Sure gets it in the Grizzlies zone. 2:21 and counting left in the third. Sure moves ahead. Cutler gets it the Idaho blue line over to Betts. Left wing shot saved by Shield. Betts gets pushed by Kubla, gets knocked down. Ducharme around Idaho's net. He's got good speed. Rink wide pass connects to White. He skates in from the right side. He drops off for Ducharme. He takes a right wing shot. On it goes wide. Oh, it looked for a second like he had gone top shelf. It deflects out of play with 2:01 left in the third. Oh, he didn't miss it by much.
Oh, boy. I mean, that shot had me fooled as well. Just the way everybody kind of froze after that shot was taken. I thought it went top shelf as well, but it went out of play, and so this will be an offensive zone draw for the Steelheads. It's just a little over 2 minutes to go. We kind of wild one here.
White will take the draw. Yeah, Ducharme, he didn't miss the second goal of the night by much. So we're still tied at 2. Nobody scored here so far in the third. White wins the faceoff for Idaho. Hedrick on the right side, throws it across for Kubla. He looked to start to Franklin, and glanced off his skate, goes back to Utah. Raby with a great speed. He crosses center ice. Raby drops it off for Luke Martin. Martin, the Michigan man. Left side, looks at center to bounce off the Betts skate as he gets the puck in the far side. Betts dancing around the corner. Now he glides it up top for Martin. Martin switches places with Bryson Martin as Luke Martin has the puck. As he'll skate towards the corner, 1:30 left in regulation. Over to Betts, centering pass, and Franklin cuts him off as Betts couldn't get a shot off. Franklin gets to A.J. White. He skates down the middle. White veers off to the left. He took a shot. Bryson Martin's stick blocked it. As White gets double teamed in the far corner. Puck goes out to the far circle. Cameron Wright gets it. He clears it out to center. Johnson gathers it for Idaho. He'll slide it off the near wing boards. Murphy gathers it. He'll skate towards the corner, but we get a whistle. And Idaho's offside with 1:07 left in the third. Well, game 3 and game 4 each went to overtime. We're 67 seconds away from having overtime for the third straight game.
Oh, boy. Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, these games have not disappointed. They've been a lot of fun. Great energy here at the Maverik Center, so we might get to see some free hockey.
Draw's going to be at center ice. Idaho wins the faceoff. Bardo moves it ahead, and the pass is incomplete. And icing is on the Steelheads. I've seen a lot of incomplete passes here tonight. Geez, we've seen so many incomplete passes. I thought I was watching a Chicago Bears football game.
Well, I think this icing right here is big for the Grizzlies. With exactly 1 minute to go, it's a free offensive zone draw. All the Idaho Steelheads that were on the ice before have to stay out there. This is the biggest face-off of the series right here. If the Grizzlies can win it, something special might happen.
The 2 number 17s taking the draw. Ty Pelton-Bice for Idaho and Zach Sekos for Utah. Idaho's outshot Utah 34-30. Steelheads with 15 shots in the third period. Grizzlies with 9. Idaho wins the draw. Kawaguchi ahead towards Murphy. Great poke check by Luke Martin. Sekos gets tripped up and neutralized, and no penalties called. As Pfizer across off the boards. Cutler chasing after it, but Idaho moves it ahead. As Bice gets the center ice, and they'll roll it along the boards. Miner has it cut off his stick, far side. Keller battles. Kawaguchi in the area. 2 Grizzlies. Pfizer and Keller are pinning each other towards the far corner. It kicks towards Luke Martin, who spins it to the near side as Cutler flies across center ice left wing. Cutler gets to the line, throws it towards Sekos. He couldn't reach it. Casey Johnson wraps it around the wall. It goes to neutral ice. 20 seconds left in regulation. Shearer towards Luke Martin. He gets it in the near side. Across towards Fitz. He gets the center ice. He lifts it in the air. Puck bounces into the left corner. Jamison gets cut off by Johnson. 7 seconds left. Niram gets the puck. He'll cross center ice. He'll skate towards the left circle. Niram stops along the left wing boards. He looked to center to bounce off the Sekos. And for the third straight game here at Maverik Center, we have overtime. Utah won the first 2 games of this series at Maverik Center, or at Idaho Central Arena. Idaho won games 3 and 4 here at Maverik Center. in overtime. And guess what? For the third straight game here at Maverik Center, third time in 4 nights. Overtime. Idaho has not won in regulation. That streak continues. They have not won in regulation in the postseason against the Grizzlies since April 23rd of 2010. Well, we'll have a 15-minute intermission, and then we'll have a 20-minute overtime session. We will play till somebody wins, as we're going to go sudden death. Should be fun. When we come back, we'll recap the first 3 periods of play. Neither team scored in the third, and we'll talk about what's going to make the difference here in overtime. Once again, the score after 60 minutes of play, it's the Steelheads 2 and the Grizzlies 2 on the Grizzlies Hockey Network.
When you pay with the Nitro card at Maverik, you always save 10 cents or more on fuel every gallon, every day. And you could save a whole lot more thanks to Nitro Best Price. Pick up a Nitro card and upgrade your Adventure Club account today.
I live for my next goal. Whether it's another pick six or another step forward in life, I wouldn't be who I am without the drive to reach it. And I wouldn't be where I am without my team. Everyone on and off the field who supports me and believes in my dreams as much as I do. Whatever your goals are, surround yourself with people who are going to help you reach toward them. Like my friends at America First, and see where life takes you.
Maverik's new bean-to-cup machines always deliver a freshly ground cup of coffee on demand, so you can enjoy any of our premium roasts at their best, day or night, hot or iced. Enjoy a fresh cup today.
If you're out driving and something happens to your car, truck, or even wheelchair, and you end up stuck at a rail crossing, it's going to be okay. Don't panic. Here's what you do. Get out if you can, and look for this blue sign on the metal pole. Call the number on the blue sign, and when they answer, tell them the crossing number. The number is right here. This tells them the exact location of the crossing. This is the fastest way to get trains stopped before coming through the crossing. Look for the blue. It helps you.
Well, maybe the third time's a charm for the Grizzlies here in overtime, as it's the pivotal Game 5 of the best-of-7 series. We're tied at 2. The winning goal total tonight is going to be 3, and that was the winning goal total in each of the first 3 games of this series. Utah scored first, exactly 3 minutes into regulation. Nolan Ritchie gets his first of the series. He had 1 goal in 5 regular season games for the Grizzlies. He was a regular for the Brandon Wheat Kings this season. He had an outstanding year. He had 27 goals in 67 games with the WHL's Wheat Kings this season. He gave Utah a 1-0 lead. Keaton Jamison with the assist. 27 seconds later on a power play, Justin Ducharme scored. 3:27 in with Kawaguchi and Dawson Bardo getting the assist. The score was tied at 1 after 1 period. Utah outshot Idaho 15-9 in the frame. 9:19 into the second period. Ryan Domowski found the back of the net for the first time this series. Patrick Cudlett and Justin Ducharme with the assist. So Ducharme's got 1 goal and 1 assist tonight. Idaho led 2-1 at that point. Grizzlies got a 4-on-3 power play late in the second period. And Taryn Pfizer scored on the one-timer from the left circle. His second of the series. Both of them have come on the power play, and both of them on one-timers from the left circle. Cutler and Luke Martin with the assists. Idaho outshot Utah 10-6 in the second period. In the third frame, nobody scored a goal. Idaho had 15 shots. Utah took 9. Neither team had a power play in the third period, as action just kind of went back and forth, as there really wasn't any reason to call a penalty. A couple of them that may be a call, but obviously this late in the game, you want to see action decided on the ice. Yeah. Both teams are 1 for 3 on the power play this evening. In terms of who's been aggressive offensively for the Grizzlies, Brandon Cutler leads the way with 7 shots. Cameron Wright has 5. Taryn Pfizer has 3. A few others have 2. For Idaho, Ryan Domowski leads the way with 5 shots, including 1 goal. A.J. White, Owen Hedrick, and Justin Ducharme each have 4 shots. Both goaltenders have been solid. Trent Miner has saved 32 of 34. Idaho's Adam Schill has saved 28 of 30. Well, just like in Game 3 and Game 4, we got overtime. Although, unlike the previous 2 games, it feels like this one, we're going to be here a little bit longer just based on the ice surface, and it might take some time for it to settle in. Both teams really having a tough time moving the puck around. And both teams, because it's the 25th time this season, 2 in the preseason, 18 in the regular year, and another 5 here in this series, both teams' defensive units are so locked in right now as to what the other team's going to do. There's not too many open looks on either side.
Yeah, I can't see this thing ending early unless it's a tip in out in front, just a wonky play where it bounces off of somebody. And I think I got to give the edge to Idaho in that department, not because they won the first 2 games of this series or of the series for them in overtime, like in that manner, but because they have a guy like Owen Hedrick. I mean, this is a guy that factored in on the Ty Pelton Bice goal in overtime in Game 4, where he just kind of whips one from the blue line. Bice gets a stick on it out in front, and that was it. And so I think a guy like Owen Hedrick is kind of a game changer for Idaho in a situation like this where you got a good puck-moving defenseman on the blue line, defenseman of the year even. It's kind of similar situation to what Utah had last season in Charles-Edward Dastu. Different players, but similar roles in the fact that you have a guy on the blue line like that, you can just kind of fire away. All someone has to do is just get a stick in front of it or maybe screen Miner out in front, and that's all it takes.
Any forward line in particular stand out to you for Utah? I know we had the Cutler, Pfizer, and Sekos line. It seems like a lot of ice time in the third period was also given to Dakota Raby, Cameron Wright, and Kyle Betts.
Yeah, I think those 2 lines are probably Utah's best 2 lines. I think the more noticeable one here tonight was probably the Sekos line with Cutler and Pfizer. Of course, they factored in Cutler and Pfizer did on that power play goal on the 4-on-3 situation earlier in the game for the Grizzlies late in the second period. But I really impressed with the Jamison, Ritchie, and Walker line. We haven't really said their names a whole lot too much, but Ritchie did get that goal off of the Jamison face-off win, which could be the difference here in overtime. I think you add Walker back into the line. If you add that net front presence, you add that grit back to the lineup for the Grizzlies, I think that's been the difference maker. And as a result of that, I think this is the best the Grizzlies' third line has looked throughout maybe the last few games of this series.
It's kind of interesting to see both teams' defensive units. I do think Idaho is missing Matt Register, their talented defenseman who might be a future League Hall of Famer. For the Grizzlies, I think they did get a boost tonight with Bryson Martin. I think he's played a good game. He's made good decisions with the puck. And you've got the Constance and Sheeran. It feels like Luke Martin's playing about as well as he's had all series as well.
Yeah, I really like the play of all those guys that you just mentioned. I think the one thing about Luke Martin that kind of sets him apart from the pack with the Grizzlies on the blue line is the fact that he picks his head up and he tries to make plays, but he's not very predictable in the fact that he'll keep his head up and kind of just look one way, but he'll totally flip the puck another way. Something that I've noticed with the Grizzlies on the power play when they seem to struggle is they're very predictable. You just have to look at the skater's eyes, and most of the time, that's exactly where he's going to pass it. And, I don't want to call out names, but I feel like there's a few Grizzlies on this team. While they're very young players, that's just a rookie mistake because the Steelheads, if you watch their defense on the PK, they know exactly where the puck is going to go. And so as a result of that, they're able to read that and get sticks on pucks, and it gives the Grizzlies fits in the offensive zone. So I think for the Grizzlies, you just got to be a little bit more unpredictable here in overtime. You also got to pick your head up, make smart plays, but take a chance here and there. Be aggressive. I think we saw Idaho was the more aggressive team in the last 2 games in overtime. I think if the Grizzlies want a chance to win here, they've got to come out and set the narrative. They got to be dominant, and they got to play aggressive.
Trying to remember if we've seen Justin Misiak since he got hit in the near corner. I don't recall seeing him out on the ice since the second period when he got hit by Dylan Fitz.
I agree, and that's a big loss for the Steelheads. I mean, you think about a guy in Misiak that has a ton of speed, really great role player for the Steelheads. If he's not serviceable here in overtime or maybe for the remainder of the series, that remains to be seen. But with him out of the lineup, that certainly is a big blow to the Steelheads.
It's interesting to see Casey Johnson, who had that controversial play early in the third period last night. He's been a big factor for Idaho. We mentioned guys needing to step up without register, and he's been one of those players. And as we've seen, it seems like these are the type of games the role players have to step up for both teams. You've seen Jamison and Penner really step up tonight, making some plays with and without the puck, and that's really been a big factor. And we've also seen some guys for Idaho really step up and play maybe a bigger role than what they normally would play.
Well, and the good news for both teams is that they've got tons of depth players throughout the course of the lineup. I mean, all three lines for both teams are extremely solid, great players. I mean, look at a guy like Keaton Jamison. That was a guy that was getting first-line minutes at one point in the season. Same thing with Dylan Fitz, Tyler Penner. I mean, so you look down the Grizzlies lineup, they got a ton of depth, but so do the Steelheads. I mean, they broke the wins record for a reason. I mean, this is just a team that's just stacked with depth. And so you look at both of these teams going to overtime, it just makes for a heck of a battle.
Rules in overtime are simple. It's kind of like the NHL playoffs. You put 20 minutes on the clock, and you play until somebody scores a goal. Now, if we go 20 minutes without a goal being scored, put 15 minutes on the clock, have an intermission, resurface the ice, and get right back at it. I think it's interesting to see the Zamboni right after the period get right to work. And so there is a little bit more time here before the period starts for the ice to settle in on this warm evening at Maverik Center.
Yeah, I think that was the story of the game so far, is just the ice playing tricks on both teams, and I think both teams understood that coming into the third period, just saying, okay, we're just going to have to make smart decisions, be very patient, and play mistake-free hockey, and that's what we saw. And as a result of that, no scoring in the third. I wonder if that approach is going to carry over here into overtime. If so, we could be in it for the long haul. But if we get a team coming out that plays aggressive like Idaho did in the first two games here at Maverik Center, could be over quickly.
We're tied at 2. We know the winning team's going to have 3 goals tonight, and we'll see if it's going to be the Grizzlies that can avoid the Idaho overtime playoff jinx. When we come back in 2 minutes, we'll have overtime here at Maverik Center. The winner of this series will face the winner of the Allen Americans Kansas City Mavericks set. Allen won the pivotal Game 5, 4-3 over Kansas City. And Game 6 of that series will be later on, either Sunday or Monday, I think. Game 6 will be out on Monday night at Idaho Central Arena. Who's going to have the 3-2 series lead? Well, we'll find out when we come back here in 2 minutes for overtime here in Game 5 as we're tied at 2. This has been the Rio Tinto Kennecott Intermission Report on the Utah Grizzlies Hockey Network.
When you pay with the Nitro card at Maverik, you always save 10 cents or more on fuel every gallon, every day. And you could save a whole lot more thanks to Nitro Best Price. Pick up a Nitro card and upgrade your Adventure Club account today.
I live for my next goal. Whether it's another pick six or another step forward in life, I wouldn't be who I am without the drive to reach it. And I wouldn't be where I am without my team. Everyone on and off the field who supports me and believes in my dreams as much as I do. Whatever your goals are, surround yourself with people who are going to help you reach toward them. Like my friends at America First, and see where life takes you.
Maverik's new bean-to-cup machines always deliver a freshly ground cup of coffee on demand, so you can enjoy any of our premium roasts at their best, day or night, hot or iced. Enjoy a fresh cup today.
If you're out driving and something happens to your car, truck, or even wheelchair, and you end up stuck at a rail crossing, it's going to be okay. Don't panic. Here's what you do. Get out if you can, and look for this blue sign on the metal pole. Call the number on the blue sign, and when they answer, tell them the crossing number. The number is right here. This tells them the exact location of the crossing. This is the fastest way to get trains stopped before coming through the crossing. Look for the blue. It helps you.
Welcome back to Utah Grizzlies hockey. We head to overtime in the pivotal Game 5 as we're tied at 2. On the live chat on the YouTube feed, which is essentially our audio broadcast, we want to know who you think is going to get the game winner. If you're a Steelheads fan, who's going to get the game winner for Idaho? And if you're a Grizzlies fan, who's getting the game winner for Utah? I think if the Grizzlies win, it's going to be Kyle Betts. That's my call for the game winner. And if Idaho wins the game. I am going with Ryan Domowski. Who's your pick for the game winners?
Well, I really like the play of Brandon Cutler throughout the course of this game. He was my pick for Optum first goal of the game. That went to Nolan Ritchie. I'm going to stick with Cutler here in overtime to get it done for the Grizzlies. Talked about Owen Hedrick before for the Steelheads. I think he gets it done for Idaho.
Grizzlies will be skating from left to right as we see it from high top section 114. Steelheads will be skating from right to left. Then regulation, Idaho ended up with 34 shots. Grizzlies took 30. We've got squeegees on the ice. As we mentioned a few times, it's a very warm night here at Maverik Center. It's not quite Boston Garden in June type of warm, but it is a warm night. I think Kearns High School. Have you ever been to Kearns High School in the summer? Yeah, it might be that kind of hot. To start overtime, it looks like it's going to be the forward line of Cameron Wright, Dakota Raby, and Kyle Betts with the defensive pairing of Luke Martin and James Shearer, although Aaron Tho's on the ice skating around. We'll see as Idaho looks like they've got A.J. White on the ice with Smothers. White did start the game for Idaho, along with Wade Murphy and Jordan Kawaguchi. It's been an interesting goaltending matchup as both guys have been solid. Utah's had some looks, and Idaho's had a few looks themselves. Well, let's look at the scoring chances. The Grizzlies through 3 periods had 12 scoring chances. Idaho had 16. Giveaways, a lot of giveaways in this game. Utah with 29 giveaways through regulation. Idaho had 20. That's according to the off-ice officials. As you mentioned before, it was a redirection in Game 4 as Ty Pelton-Bice redirected the Owen Hedrick shot. And what style of goal do you think we're going to get? You think we're going to get a redirection, or is it going to be a one-timer from either circle? How do you think the goal is going to get scored?
I think it's going to be a redirection. I mean, that's why I talk about Owen Hedrick. But on the Grizzlies side of things, you can't forget about Luke Martin. I mean, he's also got a wicked slapper. So you think about a tip-in out in front. I like that pick with Kyle Betts. Maybe he camps out in front of the net and sits at home.
Franklin White and Kawaguchi is starting forward. Starting defensive pairing for Idaho. Dawson Bardo and Casey Johnson. Idaho wins the draw. They throw it to center ice. Luke Martin gets it. Over to Dakota Raby. He drops off for Betts. Back to Raby. Starting pass. Shot saved by Shield. Good look for the Grizzlies. 10 seconds into overtime. Idaho with the puck as Johnson throws it towards Bardo. Now it goes to Raby. Skates towards his right. Puck down the middle. Johnson throws it out to center ice. Franklin over to Kawaguchi. Left side. Take a lefty shot and glance off the stick of Luke Martin. As Shearer clears it out to Raby. It goes to center ice. Idaho gets the puck back. Bardo ahead to Kawaguchi. He's around center ice. He'll chip it to his right. Bice drops it off for Kawaguchi. Skates towards the right circle. He'll take a shot and it's blocked by Shearer. Fans take up a Let's Go Grizzlies chant. As Cutler skates towards the near corner, he gets blasted by Cameron Wright. As Martin looking for the puck. Cutler thought he got held up as Sekos backhands it out to Cutler. He gains the line. He skates towards the right circle. Centers over to right, who swings and misses. As Grizzlies get a new defensive pairing as Mayhew will bounce it off of Domowski. Domowski gets it at center ice. He'll skate into the right side. He'll chip it to the left for Bice. It bounces off of his skate. Cutler redirection shot. Saved by Minor. Puck still in play. He goes to the high slot. Hedrick over towards Cutler. Left point. Lefty shot and it goes wide as Domowski to the right side. He'll feed it behind the net. Bice battles with Tho. As he'll get it up top for Hedrick. Same spot he scored last night. Redirection and score! Same play, different verse. Idaho wins. Almost the exact same play we saw last night. And the Steelheads have taken a 3-2 series lead. Got redirected maybe once, maybe twice. And the Steelheads are going nuts near their bench. As the overtime playoff jinx continues. Idaho has now won 9 straight overtime playoff games against the Grizzlies. They show a replay on the video board. Hedrick to the right side. Boy, he fired towards the net. It got redirected about the same spot that Bice redirected it last night. And it got past Trent Minor. Time of goal, 1:26 into overtime. Grizzlies are begging for a review. And it didn't look like it was played with a high stick or anything like that. Idaho's got 2 guys arguing as well. Sekos, I think, is begging for a review at this point as the fans are headed for the exits. And it's just a heartbreaking, gut-wrenching kind of loss. It got redirected. Domowski gets the game winner, his second of the game. The assist went to Owen Hedrick, who took the original shot from the right point in almost the exact spot. He took the shot last night for the game winner. Also with an assist is Ty Pelton-Bice, who was last night's hero.
The Grizzlies are making a case that it bounces off the stick of Neerum, and it's a high stick. That's what they're plating right now. So we see it on the Jumbotron. First goes off the helmet of Domowski, then ends up on the stick of Neerum. I think the Grizzlies have a case.
That was a double deflection, maybe triple deflection. Bounced off of Domowski, and then did it hit Neerum's stick up high? That's what the Grizzlies are arguing. I think they're begging just to look it over. I mean, it wouldn't hurt.
It's worth a chance,
it
really.
It wouldn't hurt. The game's on the line. It wouldn't hurt to just take a look at it. And that's what the Grizzlies are hoping for. They just want the officials to take a look at it. The two referees are the Grizzlies are pleading, and it's not looking like they're going to get a review.
And the Steelheads have already left, but the entire Grizzlies bench is still out there.
Yeah, Steelheads are in the locker room. They're celebrating right now. They're probably taking their jerseys off. And they're not going to look at it. They're not going to go to video replay. Take a look at it for Pete's sake.
You know,
just to confirm it, if anything else. Idaho wins 3-2, and they've taken a 3-2 series lead. Post-game show starts in 30 seconds. Once again, the final score from Maverik Center. The Idaho Steelheads 3, the Utah Grizzlies 2 on the Grizzlies Hockey Network. Controversial end among Grizzlies fans' eyes as Idaho wins 3-2. They show the game winner on the video board. They did not go to video replay. Hedrick fired away from the right wing. It bounced off of Domowski and then might have bounced off the stick of Neerum. Now, the thing about that is it looked like Neerum had his stick up high when it bounced, like it was played with a high stick, and then it ended up in the back of the net. Here's the thing. Does it really hurt the officials to take a look at it, get the pad outs, and confirm the call one way or another? Because this is a game winner, and this is a pivotal game 5. You're pretty much looking at the season being on the line. And whether the call was right or not, it's hard to say. I mean, you have to go ultra slow motion to figure it out. You know, did Neerum get a piece of it? Did it really have that big of an impact on the play? Because if it tipped off of Domowski and then went to Neerum's stick, and if Neerum had it played with a high stick, if it doesn't hit off Neerum's stick, maybe it bounces high. Hard to really say. Either way, Steelheads once again come away with an overtime game winner, and the Grizzlies' playoff overtime nightmares against the Steelheads continue. It's almost like you're having flashbacks of 2019 when Idaho won 4 straight overtime games to win that series 4-1. Utah won 2 road games in Boise, and they're going to have to do that here in games 6 and 7 if they want to continue playing this season. Utah won the first 2 games of the series. Idaho has won 3 straight here in overtime, and the winning team in 4 of the first 5 games of this series has scored exactly 3 goals. That's the winning goal total, and I think the fans here at Maverik Center are stunned. It's just one of those that, I think we knew it was going to be a redirection. I think we had a feeling it wasn't going to be a clean type of goal. The real question is, does Neerum play with the high stick? And if he does, I mean, it's almost like you got to go to a subsection of the rule book, because it bounced off of Domowski stick onto Neerum, and then it kind of played Plinko there. It was impossible for Minor to really know where the puck was going to end up there. It's kind of eerie, though. The exact same spot that the game 4 game winner was scored on is where the game 5 game winner was scored. Owen Hedrick fired the shot in both occasions.
It was just deja vu, really. Like, you're right, you said it right as the goal was scored. I mean, the same exact way.
Yeah.
Except this time it's a bit more controversial because it looked to me like it bounced off the side of the helmet of Domowski, then hits the top part of the stick of Neerum, and then into the back of the net. And so, I mean, it's just
We know Niram's a taller guy, so if he's playing with a high stick and he's about chest high, I mean, that's probably about 6 or 7 feet off the ground.
Well, and that's just it. I think that at least warrants a review, right? I mean, it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt at all.
I mean,
and I'm not
the
saying,
game's on the line. It
doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt to review that. I mean, it's just with a play that close and with really a series-changing play.
Yeah, a season-changing play.
I can't believe that you don't go to review on that. I mean, it makes me wonder if the Grizzlies score that goal in the same fashion, does that get reviewed? I don't know. I don't know. And I'm not going to start going down that rabbit hole, but what I do know for certain is at this point in time, the Idaho Steelheads have a 3-2 series lead, heading back to Boise for Game 6 and 7 on Monday. We'll get Game 6 for sure, and it's up to the Grizzlies to force a Game 7, which would be on Tuesday. Game 6 on Monday, but Idaho's got 2 cracks to win it at home. They were great at home, and so for the Grizzlies, you got to find a way to steal 2 more games at Idaho Central Arena.
Well, for the first time all series, the team that scored first did not end up winning the game as the Grizzlies tallied the first mark tonight. Nolan Ritchie exactly 3 minutes into the contest scored as Keaton Jamison won a faceoff. Then it glided towards Ritchie and he fired away. Ritchie had 1 regular season goal in 5 games for Utah. He spent most of the year. He spent the whole season in the WHL with the Brandon Wheat Kings, where he had 27 goals in 67 games. Idaho scored 27 seconds later on a power play, 3:27 in. Ducharme with his first of the series, Kawaguchi and Bardo with the assists. Score is tied at 1 after 20 minutes of play. Ryan Domowski made it a 2-1 Idaho lead, 9:19 in, with Kudla and Ducharme getting the assists. Grizzlies got a power play goal with 37 seconds left in regulation as Pfizer got his second power play goal of the series. Cutler and Luke Martin with the assists. Neither team scored in the third period. We headed to overtime. And on about the exact same spot on the ice that Hedrick fired away, they got redirected by Pelton Bison Game 4 as Idaho won 6-5. Tonight, it was Hedrick that bounced off of Domowski, may have bounced off of Niram, and then into the back of the net. The controversy is that Grizzlies fans, I think that the puck bounced off of Niram and would be played with a high stick, and then it ended up in the net. Now, you have to go to super slow motion to kind of look at it. It's going to be examined more than the Zapruder film or whatever that is. It's going to be examined over and over again. I think the argument isn't really one way or another, goal, no goal, or anything like that. I think is that a reviewable play? And if it is, does it really hurt to take a look at it? That's really the question I think Grizzlies fans have right now.
Yeah, they got a case, Tyson. I really think that they do. Just watching that replay, it's close enough to the point where I think it warrants a review. I think you got to at least look at that play.
It doesn't. It's just based on what's at stake. 2-2, Game 5. The series is tied 2-2. The game's tied 2-2. Game 6 and 7 will be in Boise on Game 7 if necessary. Obviously, Utah needs to win Game 6. That's where it's just, there's just so much at stake.
But to me, that's a play that we've seen get reviewed in the regular season, not even in overtime. That's a play that we've seen be reviewed before. I just don't know why it wasn't reviewed at the biggest stage in this league.
Yeah,
it just very odd to me. Very interesting. I can't believe the call. The no call. I guess I can't believe it. I just can't fathom that you're not going to at least review that when
it doesn't hurt. It wouldn't hurt at all. It wouldn't hurt to look it over. And it's just.
And I would say the same thing the other way. If it was the Grizzlies that scored that goal.
Yep. You want them to take a look at it just to make sure they got it right.
I don't know. I think it might have something to do with integrity. Maybe the integrity of the game is at stake.
Or maybe it's not. What's a reviewable play and what's not is obviously across the goal line, but how it got to that point's what I think the question. It just is what it is, I guess. There's no way to go back at it. Now the officials are in the locker room. There's nothing that's going to be changed.
It's over. It's done. And I think the toughest thing for the Grizzlies is that they're going to have to accept that reality. That's what it is.
It is what it
is.
You
had a 2-0 series lead, 3 games at home, 3 chances to win the series at home, or at least go to Boise with 3 wins in hand, and you lost all 3. I mean, the home ice in this series has essentially meant nothing. Really, I mean, if anything, the Grizzlies should maybe feel a little bit of optimism, knowing that the road team has won every single game going into Idaho. But You had 3 chances to win it at home, and you weren't able to do it.
You know, got the game-winning goal, Willie Niram, pretty much admitting that bounced off him. High stick, maybe? I don't know. I'm just asking.
It looks like we got stick gate.
Yeah. We're going to have to come up with a name for it.
You got to find up with a better name for that.
Demowski and Hedrick with the
chat.
assist.
Give me something better.
What names for the controversy?
Let's get it trending on Twitter. Let's get some ECHL Twitter trending. Get it trending on Twitter.
Idaho takes a 3-2 series lead. The winner of this series will face the winner of the Allen, Kansas City series. They had a very similar scenario over at Credit Union of Texas Event Center tonight. That series tied 2-2 coming into tonight's game, and Allen gets a 4-3 victory as they take a 3-2 series lead. I think everybody's just kind of mingling around. Interestingly enough, the director of officiating is here. I think I saw on his laptop he was taking a good long slow motion look at it. I think the question is there a reviewable play? And if it is, doesn't hurt to look at it.
But again, we've seen
why not look at it?
We've seen the same thing get reviewed in the regular season. Yeah. So that to me lets me know that it is reviewable. So I can't understand why you're in overtime right here. The Kelly Cup playoffs, the biggest stage of the league, and you're not going to take a look at that. You're not, like, really? And you look at the game-winning goal being scored by Willie Niram, that you're right. That just admits
that admits he touched it.
It was near. It did hit his stick. And so tough pill to swallow. And so the Grizzlies are going to have to find a way to win 2 games at Idaho Central Arena. That's all that means right now. And I think that's probably all I should say about it.
Well, they've done it before. It's going to be a little bit tougher here as Idaho is going to smell blood in the water. Utah did win the first 2 games at Idaho Central Arena, both of them in regulation, and Idaho responded with 3 straight overtime wins here at Maverik Center over a 4-day stretch. Now, the game-winning goal by Willie Niram means that he's the number 1 star of the game. So Niram with 1 goal, he's a +1, and 3 shots, he's the number 1 star. Second game winner for Willie Niram in this series. He had the overtime game winner, 26 seconds into OT in game 3. The second star is Justin Ducharme, who had 1 goal and 1 assist. He was a +1. I thought he was outstanding tonight. Probably the best game he's played all series. And the number 3 star is Adam Shield, the Idaho goaltender who stopped 29 of 31. Both teams are 1 for 3 on the power play. It was a pretty even game, obviously, based on the fact that we went to overtime. And for the 3rd straight game, Idaho comes out on top. The Steelheads have not won a regulation playoff game against the Grizzlies since April 23rd of 2010. 9 straight, obviously not 9 straight games, but 9 straight Idaho victories over Utah in the postseason have come past regulation. Well, we'll be here at Maverik Center Monday night. Grizzlies will be in Boise. Guy and I will be at the lobby at Maverik Center calling all the action. Tonight just kind of has a weird feeling to it, just based on how it ended. I think the real issue isn't the call or anything. I think it's the fact that Grizzlies wanted to review. They wanted to look at it. And they didn't look it over for whatever reason. It wouldn't hurt to go to video replay, pull out the tablet, and just take a look to make sure you get the thing right, because there's just so much at stake here.
I think the other disappointing thing for the Grizzlies in this game is you look back at games 3 and 4, there was a sleeper period for the Grizzlies where they just really came out flat and did not play good. And you can attribute the losses in those games to that dead period for the Grizzlies there. But the Grizzlies really didn't have that tonight. I mean, there was periods where they could have played a little bit better. But, I mean, even the Steelheads didn't have great periods either. It was kind of just a slugfest of the game. But really, there's not really one finger that you can point at where you can say, okay, this is where the Grizzlies lost the game right here. Like, this was the one thing that they just completely botched up, and that's where they lost. Okay, we get it. You went to overtime, but that one thing you could have done better, and you probably could have won in regulation. I'm not entirely sure that there was something that the Grizzlies could have done to remedy that. I mean, both teams went 1 for 3 on the power play.
Yeah.
I mean, the Grizzlies did get outshot 10-6 in the second period, 15-9 in the third, but I still thought that they played really good hockey and were generating scoring chances, maybe just not necessarily a high volume of shots. So I just, that's what makes the loss tough here for me, is just for the Grizzlies, there's not that one area that you lacked in. And so it was really, we were wanting the Grizzlies to play a well-rounded game.
Seemed like they did that.
Seems like they did that, and they still lose in the same outcome.
That's what made the intermission discussions tough to kind of elaborate on, because I think you and I both know But this game is going to get decided by a lucky bounce, one way or another. And tonight, the lucky bounce went the Steelheads' way as they take a 3-2 series lead. I think we knew that that's what this game was going to come down to, and that's exactly how this game ended. A lucky bounce by Idaho as Willie Nerum redirected it got redirected twice. It got redirected by Demowski and then Nerum, and then it ended up from Nerum's stick that wasn't determined to be high into the back of the net. That's just the way it goes sometimes. Well, Monday night will be Game 6 of the Mountain Division semifinal series as the Grizzlies look to avoid elimination. Idaho leads 3-2. The Grizzlies are going to need to win 2 in a row on the road to defeat the Steelheads. But remember, the Grizzlies have had success in that building. They have won 5 times at Idaho Central this season, 3 in the regular season, and each of the first 2 games of this series. We'll chat on Monday, 6:50 pregame show, 7:10 face-off. I hope you enjoyed the broadcast of not necessarily the final outcome as Willie Nerum scores his second game-winning goal of the postseason. He scored the game winner in Game 3, 26 seconds in as Idaho was on a power play. And tonight, he redirected the Ryan Demowski deflection that was redirected off the Owen Hedrick shot. And the Steelheads come away with a 3-2 victory. Once again, the final score in 2 hours and 45 minutes and in front of a crowd of 4,769 here at Maverik Center. The Idaho Steelheads defeat the Grizzlies 3-2. We hope you enjoyed the broadcast and not necessarily the final outcome. For Guy Chiarenza, I'm Tyson Whiting, and it is what it is.